Wow, welcome. It is Doubleheader Tuesday here at Platelana, Hotlanta, whatever you want to call it. Welcome to the Tuesday night top split here on P1. Everybody got the usual suspects here in the booth with me. We have Stevie, we have JP, we have LGN, and we might see what we thought a little bit more of a meme race early on, but once again, the conditions might dictate what we're actually going to see on the racetrack. 84 degrees ambient temperature, 128 degrees track temperature. Humidity 44.59%, so the air out there is kind of heavy. Winds out of the north at 3. Started off, fellas. Welcome to the broadcast. First race of our doubleheader, 75 laps right now. Then we'll do a podcast and another 75 laps later. What should we expect tonight?
Chaos. That's one way of putting it for sure. And we definitely come to expect chaos, especially here at the new configuration at Atlanta Motor Speedway, particularly because the speeds really encourage it. I was watching some of the guys in qualifying. 230 miles an hour is a slow speed here. This is incredibly fast. These drivers are going to be going at it here. There may be a little bit of understeer the drivers will have to contend with, but I have little doubt there that Atlanta is going to throw them some curveballs, not only because it's fast here, but has anyone ever told you that it tends to get hot down here in Georgia? And that's definitely true here on the racing surface. Like you said, 128 degrees Fahrenheit, that is pretty toasty. So that is some conditions that these guys and gals are going to have to fight pretty hard here, as well as fighting each other, and at such high speeds as well.
Shall we get on going with the starting lineup?
And we have two rather unexpected appearances on the front row, perhaps, in a lot of ways. Out of left field, on the pole is going to be Brian Campbell in the number 8. He's been strong all season, but hasn't quite put it down in qualifying just yet. He has done so tonight in style. He'll be alongside another surprise, Tiago Benedetti in the 21. He will start off second. Really good qualifying effort for Tiago. Brandon Trost, one of the usual suspects, of course, will be starting off third alongside Phil Kraus, a multi-time champion in IndyCar competition. He's going to start off fourth tonight. Trey Shadid is going to be fifth in the number 3 machine. Ty Quill will be alongside him in 6th place in that number 7. Guillermo Miguel will be starting 7th in the 19 alongside PDF. Pablo Diaz-Francis in 8th place. That's the number 11. Alexis Newsom making her return back to this series here. It's great to see her back. Fast as usual, starting off 9th alongside Kyle Clemworth in the number 6 in 10th. Seb Alexander and Stephen Lee will be row 6. Mitch David and Adriano Verporti, row 7. Mark Murphy and Jacob Collins, row 8. Row 9 will be Matt Taylor and Bruno Romanzini. Struggle for both of them. Dustin Cares will be 19th and Estrada 20th. That's row 10. Lilac Zier and Carlos Washington, row 11. Sam Karasala and Daniel Perea, row number 12. And shotgun on the field, row 13. Casey Parhutsky in the 25. And coming down to the start, it's going to be 75 laps for our first race of the night at Atlanta. Green flag flies. Campbell. Drama's already. Oh, we got to spin that hard. And Mark Murphy's in it too. That's 2 teammates getting collected there. And what has happened?
Seb Alexander started all around him.
It started from Pablo.
Oh, yes, I'm seeing PDF. Pablo Diaz-Francis got off the start very slowly, pulls down to the inside. And right behind him, Seb Alexander gets collected, takes Mitch David with him as well. Another car was involved in that too. Was that Jacob Collins? Yes, it was.
So we were warned about this coming into this, is that it's slippery on the restarts, and that's exactly what happened. You watch PDF here. Let me get the starting lineup off the screen here. But yeah, you just watch him kind of get loose.
Yeah, so good to see that whole aspect of Atlanta hasn't changed all that much from the old to the new.
Wow.
Yeah, so PDF slow up the start. I'm wondering if he was dropping back to like get himself out of a potential fight here. Oh, no, he didn't. He actually just got loose.
Yeah, on his own. It was all on his own, yeah.
All on his own there, and Seb Alexander was fighting the same condition, and PDF got away with it. Alexander did not.
Alexander basically had a he had a ride with in the shades of Michael McDowell, as we saw in the Coke 0400 a few weeks back.
Oh dear.
Now Roman Zini with the high IQ move here started from pit road.
Ah, interesting call there from Bruno Romanzini. Stays on the lead lap as well, so that could be a benefit. He started towards the rear of the field anyway in 18th place. And as we come up to the stripe, still going to be around 23rd, it looks like. 22nd, actually. So Romanzini could be playing some interesting cards here. We'll see how well this plays out. He started, he had a lot of ground to make up anyway, but this could be a benefit. At least staying out of trouble early on.
Yeah, in times like these, starting on pit road is the best way to go, especially with this hot track temperature. But like you said, it's typical Atlanta. As we see Brian Campbell glitching out again. As is tradition.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's getting better.
Yeah, it's getting better connection-wise for Brian Campbell, and really that's one of the last places you want to be having connection issues. You don't want it anywhere, obviously, but at the front of the field, that is going to be tough, especially when you have to fight with cars around you that cannot see you, and they don't know where you're going to pop up. And I think there was also, I think Trost was also suggesting that Phil Kraus was having some connection issues as well early on in this race. So this, like, as you said, I think Justin may well be playing profit on this one. This could be a race of chaos, as I guess we kind of expected here at Atlanta, but there were some conditions that could mitigate it, but there's some others that could easily swing it back into chaos territory.
So if the audio is a little off, we're just continuing to work on it. We are working off the new Raceverse, the old former Raceverse, and now the old P1 now. We got the new P1. We have now the new P1 broadcasting station going on here. New computer and everything. And we're just tweaking little things here now and then. So if the sound is off a little bit, it might be too loud if you ask me. But we'll tweak it over time. Again, pardon if it blows your eardrums. You just might want to turn down your audio a little bit in your headphones or on your TV or whatever, and then we'll try to turn up our commentary a little bit as well.
It's almost like the sounds of speed, or crank it up.
Oh yeah. And we're getting close to cranking it up again, and hopefully for more than just a corner this time. As everyone running up on that higher line. Of course, this is us compensating for NASCAR rules in an IndyCar environment, as Gary loves to point out about this. So we're running way up alongside the wall. Brian Campbell bringing him down, gets his foot on the throttle, green flag out. Brandon Trost trying to play catch-up. Phil Kraus there, again trying to get up there, and Tiago Benedetti was the big loser at the start of this race. Can he get back up in the second position, or even fight for the lead?
Yeah, a number of these guys were taking it easy on the restart here after what happened on the start. As we've heard, with the way this track condition is, it's slick, it's hot. There's little to no grip, so you want to take it easy on the restarts, especially with the turbo lag in this car compared to that normally aspirated so-called stock car.
Oh yeah, that's it's still a tricky aspect to master for a lot of people, especially the people that are coming over from stock car competition. It's not getting all the power down immediately. It's having the turbochargers kick in when you get up to speed here. Here comes Brandon Trost, well up to speed. He came really close to the gearbox of Brian Campbell. This is the fight for the lead early on.
Good battle between these two here as they go down the back straightaway. It looks like Trost may be able to get him on the high side here. No, he's not. He gets a little bit of understeer as he runs towards that high line. He's trying to run it like it's Darlington almost there. Almost contact.
Very close stuff there. Tues trying to see a gap that was very close to non-existent there as Tues is once again taking that slipstream there, looking high, looking low. Early on, he's getting really aggressive here. And I think his game plan could be get out in front before the tires start to wear down here. With as hot as this track is, that could very well be the case. And Tues looking up on that high line once more.
Side by side as they go through 1 and 2 here between Brian Campbell and Brandon Tues. Tues trying to get the run off of the corner here. Not going to be enough. Campbell moves up a little bit, trying to push him up into the wall, and it's not going to work because Tues sees what he's doing, and he backs down and falls back in line to get the run again as they come off of turn number 4.
And he takes out Brian Campbell, and Tues has a nose damage as well. Caution is out.
Oh, Stephen Lee.
Stephen Lee in it too. But oh my goodness, controversy already. Lap number 10, the leaders collide. More drivers trying to check up there. One car sideways in turn 1, trying to avoid running into Brian Campbell. And I guarantee he is going to be angry under that helmet.
I believe he already is because we can hear it.
Oh yeah, and Tues already trying to throw some shade at him, saying car low in the chat there. So he's not happy either. This is oh boy, what a way to start this race.
The car was low. So I said Campbell fall, sorry.
Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look and see 3 and 4.
But should be
Tues
better set than something.
down on the low side there. Sees the gap on the low side. Oh, Campbell got a little bit looks like it was a really odd angle there through the quad oval. That is yeah, this is definitely an interesting case here, folks.
Turns the lead over to Phil Kraus.
Indeed, it does. And I'm gonna have a looking at the onboard with Brian Campbell here. Oh yeah, he does move down a little bit. Try and force Tues to back out of the move, perhaps, but yeah, it was an opportunistic move. I definitely agree with what Brian's saying on the radio. It was an opportunistic move from Tues, but at the same time, I'm not entirely on Campbell's side on this one. This one looks, yeah, that one's definitely, oh, yeah, and I also saw Stephen Lee getting collected there at the end there, but, I don't want to be throwing blame games around here, but Campbell seems to have, doesn't seem to be the squeaky clean one on this one, and neither is Tues.
And Sam Karasala up 10 spots. Casey Pahutsky up 11. Carlos Washington up 10 spots.
That was, in my opinion, that was a racing deal right there.
Could very well be. I definitely understand Tues going for the move. There's no doubt about that. Opportunistic though it may be, though Campbell seemed like it was an opportunistic defensive maneuver as well. So opportunism versus opportunism, and turns out to be an opportunity for neither tonight.
Ooh, wait a minute. Hang on. I'm looking at the onboard of Campbell. He got loose.
Did he?
Yeah, he got loose.
I was looking at the onboard. I don't know if I saw him.
If you look at the wheel, right before they get to the start-finish line, he's fighting it.
A little
bit, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a loose moment there for Campbell.
And also Tues too, almost lose it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't entirely in either of their hands, it looks like. Campbell and Trost both fighting loose race cars at the same time while they're fighting for the lead. Honestly, this is the kind of thing I was talking about in terms of the chaos. It's fighting the track and fighting your own car as much as you're fighting the guy trying to pass you or you're here trying to pass. But yeah, this one is definitely going to leave a lot of people angry. But we're going back to green here. Oh, I'm looking. Who was that? That was Clinton trying to make a move on the high side. Aquila let the gap open on the high side. Clinton tried to take advantage. Not quite enough. No penalty, I should note. Phil Kraus, Tiago Benedetti. Ty Quilla third. PDF up to fourth around Kyle. After that whole incident, Tracy did in sixth.
Yeah, you can technically get away with passing on the outside, but if you're trying to go on the inside on a single file restart, no go. That's right. Hopefully, the chaos factor is lowered a little bit.
Perhaps, though. I'm not entirely hedging my bets on that quite yet. As right now, Tiago Benedetti back where he started in second position and now in the position where he thought he was going to be, just not the guy he was predicting to fight. In this case, it's Phil Kraus. And Kraus defending on that low line seems to be preferred for the time being, the way the tires have been wearing in at the moment. We're only on lap 16 here. Out of 75, we're expecting about 50 laps, maybe 45 to 50 laps worth of fuel in these cars.
I think you're going to see some pretty significant strategy, especially with the tires.
I would imagine so, especially later on the going. I'm expecting these tires to fall off quite a bit. It's gotten a bit cooler. It's down to 122, but that's cooler relatively speaking. It's still rather hot.
It's still hot, slick. You're going to be sliding all over the place.
Oh, wow, they're dropping gears in the corner.
Oh, they are, yeah.
You can hear it, too. She did got a little bit of understeer as they came off the turn 2. Here comes Stephen Lee to the inside as they go through 3 and 4. He's going to get the pass done. Move Stephen Lee up to 6th. Trace Shadid.
And move Alexis Newsom up to 8.
Oh, yeah.
Newsom getting around Miguel.
And
up into
so the same thing with Cares. So Miguel lost 2 spots that lap in just a period of 2 turns.
Yeah, these guys they're really working their way through the gears, and I think they're really starting to figure out the tire wear situation at the moment as we're starting to get some laps in.
Surprised if they're messing around with the front rear ARBs as well as the weight jacker to try and combat the understeer problem as the run goes up.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be playing with their toolkit quite a bit here, especially with the low grip that the track is providing, both with the hot temperatures and just the nature of the speedway here. I'm looking at the lead battle here. PDF looking to make a move for second place on the inside. Tiago Benedetti. Not quite enough to get the run yet. Benedetti getting momentum on that high side as he now defends low in 3 and 4.
Now down the 4th gear and turns 3 and 4 for PDF.
Yeah.
Alexis Newsom got by Trace Shadid, so move Shadid now down to 8th, and he's probably going to lose another spot. He's going to probably lose it to Dustin Cares.
Cares catching up into this fight here as Alexis Newsom showing the speed that we've come to expect of her. She's definitely a veteran of IndyCar competition and really fast on ovals. This qualifying effort really didn't show the kind of pace that we normally see from her. And already up 2 spots. Next up on the block will be Stephen Lee. And she is definitely, she's looking to be catching him here. Ooh, big run, in fact, off of turn number 2, catching up to the rear wing of that 16 machine.
Looking for any chance that she can get by Stephen Lee as they come off of turn number 4 here. She's pulling away from Trace Shadid. The draft is helping out from Stephen Lee as they go through the corner here. But as you can hear, they're playing around by going down the gears to combat that understeer that we were talking about. She's trying to find a little bit of clean air to subsidize the dirty air that is coming off of Stephen Lee's car as they go through the corners here. It's a cat and mouse game here is what we're seeing.
Yeah.
She'll catch up to him going through these corners, but down the straightaways, it's almost like just a small bit of a brick wall of air.
Exactly, and it turns into a little bit of a game of find the clean air. It's not quite to the extent where we see at other tracks where the drivers will pick a whole different lane by comparison just so they can get the clean air and get the grip that they need. It's not quite to that point yet, as I'm actually seeing a slow car up ahead. Wait.
Almost messed with the leads. Oof.
Brandon Trost with a very damaged race car there, 8 laps down, trying to pick up whatever scraps he can before he's likely going to have to call the night because he has a meatball flag come into the pits, or else you'll be DQ'd for mandatory repairs. Everyone got around that number 2 machine pretty cleanly, thankfully.
Not exactly tracking right. Not exactly tracking straight.
Definitely not.
I've been there. I feel his pain.
Just a little bit of a crab walk.
Yep. Just doing the crab dance.
High side.
Side move, Kyle Clenworth up into 3rd spot around Benedetti. Very well done. And I think at this point, this is really starting to show how show the tire wear at the moment. They're starting to realize that the tires are good for a little bit, well, good relatively, and then you're gonna have to play some interesting games to keep them underneath you.
Top 12 have not pitted so far. Everybody from 13th on back decided to stop early in one of the early caution. So that is what we got so far here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Working lap number 30 for our leaders, Phil Kraus, PDF, Kyle Clemworth, Tiago Benedetti, and Ty Quilla are the top 5 as it stands. Alexis Newsom and Stephen Lee still fighting in that battle for 6th place, and they're starting to catch up to Ty Quilla in 5th to go along with it.
I think Alexis Newsom realized maybe trying to get a run on Stephen Lee to get past him is not the optimal way to go. Use that draft, maybe even a 2-car tandem. That way we can catch up towards the front and start making moves around these guys up in front.
Yeah, they really seem to be working out how they're going to play this. As I'm seeing the speeds dropping down considerably. I think that's the first time I saw one of the leaders get down to under 220 miles an hour in the middle of 3 and 4. So the tire wear does seem to be a really big factor at the moment for Alexis Newsom and Stephen Lee, as Brandon Trost once again still down on the apron. I imagine he's going to be forced to pack it in pretty soon here. I bet he's going to be going until he gets DQ'd officially. Phil Kraus, 1 second lead.
He was in the pits, so it may be a glitch, it may not be.
He's on pit road now, and I think this will be the time to sadly throw in the towel for Brandon Trost after a good start, of course, and everything that's happened to one of our championship contenders, and it's very much in a very angry way. He's angry. Brian Campbell is angry. This is that was not the way the start of this race was supposed to go for either of them.
Indeed, it was not the optimal way to go here, but hey, got another race after this one.
Indeed we do.
Second of a doubleheader. Just stick with us. After this, 10:15 p.m. Eastern, we'll cover that race too. 35 of 75. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to hit that like button. Smash that like button, would you, if you will. Subscribe to the channel. And make sure to ring the bell so you don't miss out on the next race when we go live next. That includes, actually, you won't get notified when we go live tonight because we're going to go straight through after this race. We're going to do a little intermission and a mini podcast. And then we'll go right to the second race. And then we'll wrap it up after that. But you want to ring the bell for future races because tomorrow night we got a doubleheader. And then we're going to have races, of course, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, pretty much for the remainder of the year. You're going to check us out here at P1.
And I'm watching this fight once again for 6th place. Stephen Lee and Alexis Newsom. Newsom still. Big squeak for Stephen Lee. Saves the car. Brilliant stuff there. And
low side of Oh, sorry, I thought it was Quilla passing Tiago, but that was just Trost there. But now we're side by side with Lee and Newsom. Well, now they're tucked back in together.
Yeah, Newsom not quite as optimistic at the moment going through the quad oval there, and I think she realized that pretty quickly after the Trost and Campbell incident. As
just a tad bit of understeer, she came off of turn 2 as well.
Indeed so, and everyone's really struggling there. And you know how I was saying earlier that recently was the first time I saw under 220 miles an hour? Well, now they're touching 210 in the middle of the corner here. These tires are falling off like mad, and the speeds are dropping considerably. And this really is showing how this race will be won. It's going to be who preserves tires. Alexis Newsom now gets the run up the corner, side by side, and Stephen Lee backs out.
Yeah, easy pass for her there. Because considering how hard she had to work for that one, that didn't turn out to be an easy pass.
Indeed so. Now a bit of clean air between her and Ty Quilla for 5th place. She's going to relish it while she can, because pretty soon I think she's going to be catching right up to that number 7.
Yeah, but right now she's got a lap down car ahead of her. That is the number 13 of Mitch David. Mitch David not having one of the best races of his season so far, but we know what he's capable of, and he will get out of the way of Alexis Newsom. He'll do the same for Stephen Lee when Stephen Lee catches up to him.
Yeah, and Mitch David was an unfortunate victim of that first incident right at the start of this race. He got collected after everything that transpired. So definitely an agonizing race so far for Mitch David, but I have no doubt coming back in it, he's definitely going to want a lot more out of it.
Dustin Kerr's pit road. Scheduled stop.
So Dustin Kerr's coming in, so the first scheduled stop of the day, it would seem. Down off the Jackson, away goes the number 18.
Three-way battle here with Shadid, Lee, and Miguel. They're very tight quarters. And I think Stephen Lee's got a handful.
I definitely think so, especially after everything that happened in the battle with Newsom. He's going to be flipping that race car really hard here.
Got himself a handful? That's an understatement.
Oh my, that is definitely not a handful of something fun. It's a handful of a loose race car. I was like, oh, I think we just saw that again. And Claire Miguel, probably a little bit life flash.
Stephen Lee's like, I'm coming to pit road. Yeah.
He's had enough of this. He's coming on to pit road for a scheduled stop there. Lights up the tires coming in. No penalty, of course. Gets it down well below that speed limit, 45 miles an hour. And after doing 220, that always just feels like you're stuck in rush hour traffic, even if there are no cars around you.
Murphy up to 14th as he just got around Antonio Estrada. He's now got Daniel Pereira in his sights as they go through turn 1 and 2.
Three-car battle there. Benedetti struggling there in 3 and 4. He's lost 2 positions to Ty Quilla and Alexis Newsom, and he's coming on the pit road. So Newsom and Quilla maintaining their tires pretty well, but the conditions are definitely catching out a few drivers, and they're coming in early. Not a bad idea in the short term to do so you can pick up some spots and undercut the drivers around you. And I'm sure that's something that everybody else is considering as well in their battles. But at the same time, keeping the tires fresh for the late going, this could easily make up the spots that you gain from undercutting them.
Top 9 going long right now.
Guys, you would not believe what the track temperature is right now.
130. Oh my goodness.
What the heck?
Did I ever mention that it gets hot here in Atlanta? Oh my goodness, that is some of the hottest track temps I've seen on almost any circuit in iRacing. It's up there with the Japanese circuits and Daytona in the summer months. That is hot. I mean, we call this place Hotlanta for a reason, as Newsom gets around Tyquilla for 4th place.
That's not hot. That's boiling.
Yeah, not quite in the literal sense, but it's still. Oh man, you can definitely cook a barbecue on it, I think.
You can cook eggs, steak, ribs, you name it.
Yeah. Yeah, and have some extra flavor from the rubber in there while you're at it.
Watching Phil Kraus now is he is on the backside of Bruno Romanzini, trying to prevent himself from going a lap down. Bruno to the inside to defend a little bit.
And definitely within his right to do so. Let's not be too harsh upon him for anyone screaming F1 rules.
Feels like I have enough. We're going to go to pit road.
Kraus coming in, lap 51. PDF staying out, and so is Clemworth. Newsom staying out as well.
Karsala
and Ty
comes in.
Coming in too.
Yep, we'll get Tyquilla here. There's Ty.
Coming Paulo now.
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit sketchy coming out of pit road on cold tires, but with how boiling hot this track temperature is, I think those tires are going to be up to optimal temperature.
Oh my goodness. Everyone trying to scramble down on the pit road. No penalty for PDF.
And Glenny too coming. He's in with Alexis too.
Shadid stays out. Miguel stays out. And Washington stays out. Murphy will actually pick up the lead here for a little bit.
And Mark Murphy staying out as well.
Shadid, pit road.
Shadid coming in, and as everyone cycles through, as Miguel, Washington, and Murphy as it stands. Matt Taylor also staying out long. As the wall actually slaps the wall off of turn number 2. And I think that's going to be the sign for him to come in pretty soon here. He's not coming out of the Is that Carlos Washington?
Yes, it is.
Carlos Washington in 2nd place. Spins out on old tires. And I think this may have thrown...
He spun coming to pit road.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And he almost clipped Mark Murphy.
Actually, he clipped Mark Murphy.
He did? Did he?
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Oh, yes, he did. Oh, my... Oh. And Murphy seems to have gotten away with it.
Good old netcode.
Fortunate for him, not so much for Washington.
Hello, netcode, my old friend. Good to see you once again.
Why must you be like this?
All right, yeah, we're watching as Carlos gets it back underway. But we're back under caution right when everyone is doing pit stops. We'll see how that impacts the field here. But here comes Miguel and Murphy coming to pit road now as well. Zaire, I believe, is in 4th. They are probably gonna. What are they gonna do? They're gonna stay. They're gonna pit.
Yeah, they're gonna come in.
Carlos Washington, Raporti coming in as well, and now we'll just turn the lead back over to Kraus. So I don't think it really changes up the order too much.
I don't believe so either.
Although Romanzini's very slow down on the apron. I wonder if he's out of fuel. Nope, just coming off a pit road.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's...
Still just coasting around. Did I hear a cough?
He's under power.
He's coming to a stop
Now he's coming to a
here.
stop. Maybe we're waiting for the pace car.
Possibly. I think that could be... Yeah, I think that is what he's doing. Waiting for the pace car to come around. Yep, that's what he's doing.
All right, so Kraus is now your leader. Miguel is now 2nd. Zaire is now 3rd. and this is after they've just done their pit stops. Zier up 18 spots. For Porty now up to 4th, up 10 spots. Murph, he was in that opening incident. Somehow he's 5th now. So way to go for Murph. Matt Taylor, after kissing the wall, getting very acquainted with it, is now 6th. Carlos Washington on pit road for bringing out the caution, but he's currently classified in 7th.
And I think the big, let's see what happens with everyone cycling through here.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone else is getting there. Everyone else has got the laps back because there was a lot of drivers scored 1 lap down.
Yeah.
But, yep, as everyone now gets sent around the pace car.
Zier. All right. Mrs. Siteman, Olivia Hayward says it's Zier. Sorry. And I think you guys mentioned that, and I just did not pick up on that. And she loves the unusual strategy. It really worked this time. So, well, I can't say that is a standard strategy, but, man, it has worked, putting Lilac Zier up to P3.
Very well done. And, like, the unconventional strategy can definitely work sometimes. And it seems like it's doing so tonight, assuming everything else goes according to plan. So Phil Kraus will be leading once again, but Zier and Miguel, and for Porty for that matter, a lot of these guys, they're going to have to keep an eye on the fresh tire runners, Pablo Diaz-Francis, Tiago Benedetti, Stephen Lee, Dustin Cares, Kyle Clemworth, Alexis Newsom. They're going to have to keep an eye on them because they are going to be bad fast at the start of this stint. They're going to have fresh rubber underneath them. They don't have to worry about fuel, of course. I don't think anybody here does at this rate.
We're good. We are good.
Yeah, so this is going to be quite a tussle coming to the end of this race, coming to the start of lap 59. Kraus on the throttle. Great fly. Oh, goes in the wall. Spins on the restart. Keeps it out of the wall. Caution is out. No one else gets collected, it looks like. Yes, no one else gets collected in that so far. Just looks like it just lit it up on the rear tires and spins it into the wall.
Let's watch it again.
Oh,
and then those were new tires, actually.
Those were fresh. Oh my goodness.
And we've seen something very similar to that in actually IndyCar racing, real IndyCar racing at Texas, just coming up to speed here in the quad oval area. And that comes the back end. And normally it causes a concertina or accordion effect, but this way the car kind of cleared itself. And it's just a single car incident, bringing out the caution one more time. But that is day done for Miguel, unfortunately.
That is really sad to see, especially when it was just caught out by the circumstance here. Thankfully, no one else got collected in it, but that's got to be gut-wrenching to be all the way up in that position, up in 2nd place, and then that happens.
Well, now the strategy of Zier puts them up to P2 now. And the mailman is in attendance for Porty is P3. And you keep him up at the front long enough, the mailman once again will just send it.
Oh, yeah.
And if he could see a win in front of him, that's where he gets the nickname from. He just sends it, and that's what we call him, the mailman.
Speedy delivery to you.
And Mark Murphy very quietly up to 4th, and Taylor in 5th. In the real world, the career IndyCar wins leader here at Atlanta is none other than Rocket Rick himself. He has 5 wins, including 4 in a row from 79 to 82. Johnny Rutherford, Lone Star JR, has 3, including the inaugural IndyCar race here back in 1965. And the more contemporary time, Greg Gray has 2 back when the IRL ran here in the early 2000s. The current track record, and that was under the older configuration, And I doubt we'll see Indy cars anytime here soon on the new configuration. Set 98 with Billy Boat with a speed of 224.145 miles per hour. If they were to get on this thing for real today, who knows what that speed will be. Probably right around what Kenny Breck turned at Texas in the old kart cars back in the day. Probably 230, 240.
Yeah, though at what cost?
Not needed. Not needed.
Yeah, but particularly to, I don't know, their health. As I'm looking at another car coming on the pit road, is that...
that is Shadid coming in. He's on a lap. He's a lap down, so he's just going to top it off, get a new set of tires.
Yeah, probably go for fastest lap honors, because once you get trapped a lap down on a late restart, that's usually not a good sign for gaining positions. Except, of course, if chaos happens, and as we've seen tonight, that's definitely not out of the realm of possibility, even this late in the going.
If you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split, coming to you from Hot Atlanta, where we have completed now 62 of 75 laps here. Enjoying our coverage tonight. Make sure, and you would like to monetarily support us, make sure to find our GoFundMe link in the stream description. We realize times are tough, so any donation, no matter the amount, is greatly appreciated. We do this on behalf of the community, absolutely for free and no cost. We require your donations to make ends meet. And if you have not donated, please do so. Again, link is in the description to our GoFundMe campaign. Getting ready to go to green here at lap 63. A bit of a end of the race sprint here. Ken Kraus hold off Zier, or better yet, Ken Zier pass Kraus.
Yeah, this is gonna be one heck of a finish. It's been one heck of a race so far, but it's going to be a finish I think we're going to remember, I would imagine. It's already been a race to remember, or a race to forget, depending on who you're talking to. But Phil Kraus sitting right there on the front of the field, pace car down. Kraus on the throttle, green flag flying there. Zier trying to catch up. Everyone getting their foot down very, very smoothly here thus far. We get to the quad oval. That's crazy to say when that's not a guaranteed factor. Kraus with a gap over Zier, who in turn has a big gap back to Adriano Fraporti, and he's finding himself under pressure from Mark Murphy and Matt Taylor. But the lead battle looking to be a fascinating one. The underdog Lilac Zier against the champion Phil Kraus. Isn't that something you always want to see?
Hey, we love those underdog battles.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of battles, we got a big tussle back here down in the top 10. Benindetti, Taylor, and Lee. Taylor looks like he's lost a couple of spots so far. Getting forced up on that high line there. He's struggling there. I think he may be fighting a bit of damage there on that number 10 after slapping the wall a few laps ago.
Clindy, high side, full send it.
Newsom trying to get a run on Stephen Lee, and that's all the invitation Clendy needed up on that high side of the track. Under 10 to go now at Atlanta. Race one of the night. And Clendy trying to work that high line around Alexis Newsom. Newsom is not really enjoying having to fight the draft of two cars in front of her. That being Benindetti and Lee. Benindetti way up on that high line, getting in Clendy's way. And look at this. Way down on the low side goes Alexis Newsom. Oh, what a diving move there, but she pulls it off. Move her up.
Sixth.
Up a few spots into sixth place, 9th to 6th in one lap, I will note. Very well done. And Newsom now setting her sights on PDF. Pablo Diaz-Francis has a bit of a gap there, and they've got a lap car between them. That being Romanzini.
He's fast. He's coming from to Murphy. Murphy, he still have a damage, I think so, with the touch with the last yellow, 2 yellows ago.
Like, Murphy should probably, after this race, like, between the two races, Murphy should go out and buy a lottery ticket, I think, because he has been incredibly lucky.
Oh, look at this, look at this.
Uh-oh.
Look at Alexis.
Newsom
that was around, that was Romanzini who was a lap down, but yeah. It gets tight,
that was
though.
lap
It
car.
gets tight.
It definitely does there, as Newsom now has clean air in front of her, at least for a time, and she's going to be using that in these last 5 and a bit laps to close in on this battle for fourth there, as PDF trying to fight Mark Murphy for fourth place, and Murphy gives it up for the time being. Backed out of it, and Francis, I think, almost ran his left sides on that apron there. An apron, we say apron bad a lot, but apron really bad here.
Also, Alexis Newsom was in the draft with Bruno Romanzini for a couple of laps. The speed that she hit going into turn number 3, 241 miles an hour.
And she did it again going into turn 1. These cars are flying on first starts, and she has caught Mark Murphy in a hurry here. She's right on his gearbox now.
Also of note, guys, the track temperature has gone up again.
137. Did anyone bring some eggs to fry?
I got the steak.
Yep. Little asphalt cooked steak and eggs sounds like an interesting combo to me, especially on a race weekend. Newsom running all over the gearbox of Mark Murphy. 2 laps to go. Phil Kraus has pulled out a 1.7 second lead over Lilac Zier. And Fraporti now fighting with PDF.
Yeah.
Pablo now gets up into 3rd place. He's been fast all night, and now he's really showing it with clear air in front of him. Can he catch Lilac Zier? White flag in the air is going to be a big ask.
Very big ask indeed. And here comes Alexis Newsom, almost into the back of Mark Murphy.
Sticking her nose underneath Mark Murphy. Nearly contact there in 1 and 2. Newsom before. Oh, big wiggling moment there. Clendy slaps the wall, looks like. But it's worth it now. He moves up into 6th, but Phil Kraus across the line for the win. Lilac Zier holds on to 2nd, and PDF will get 3rd. What a race.
That was, yeah.
So one thing about Pablo is 3:11 in the morning in Spain.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This
Man, that's a man that loves his racing right there.
That is amazing.
And they already
all the
told
way
me-
in Spain.
They already told me they already raced two races before. And this is the 3rd one, so I don't know.
Oh my goodness! And like, that is a man who loves the competition we have here in IndyCar, and all the way from the Iberian Peninsula. That is at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the sort of thing that shows that they're really committed to it. And I have a teammate who's just like that and did the same for a late model league. He raced all the way from Denmark, and he was up till like 5 in the morning for every race.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No. I wasn't oh my godding at that. Right when they took the checkered flag, it went up 1 degree again.
138. Oh man, toasty track here at Atlanta.
Let's get these final standings in here. From Atlanta, race 1. Phil Kraus to win. Lilac Zier, P2. Welcome to the top split. Good to have you here. Pablo Diaz-Francis, very early in the morning there in Spain, P3. For Porty, well, the mailman does deliver a little bit, but delivered a top 5 instead of a top 3. He finishes 4th. Mark Murphy, probably with a bit of a squirrely car, I think, with some of the incidents that he was going through very early on, finishes 5th. Clindy 6, Newsom 7th. That was a heck of a battle at the end. Couldn't decide where to put the camera on that one. Stephen Lee, 8. Good top 10 for him. Ty Quillen, 9th. Matt Taylor with a damaged race car brings it home in 10th. Diego Benedetti being up in the top 5 for much of the day, but after pit stop just wasn't the same for Diego. He finishes 11th. Daniel Pereira, 12th. Very quiet day. Carsala, also a quiet day in the IAR entry, 13th. Antonio Estrada, we didn't really show him at all hardly on the stream here. Sorry about that, Tony. But 14th for him. Dustin Cares, 15th. Roman Zini, 16th. Pahutsky, 17th. Trey Shadid, 18th. Carlos Washington, 19th. Mitch David, 20th. Miguel, 21st, and ended the day early there with that incident coming up to a restart. Trost and Campbell with that incident while battling for the lead, 22nd and 23rd. Seb Alexander and Jacob Collins caught up on that turn 1, lap 1 incident. Finishes 24th and 25th. I hate it when it does that. So I got new things that I need to turn off with the computer. One of those is when you mouse over certain things, it shows your desktop, and I need to turn off that preview look, whatever it is. So sorry about that. Although if you like my tranquil desktop, and if it makes you feel good, then we'll keep them anyways. But there you go. Yeah. All right. And we'll just have to re-rack that. Normally I just at the end close the music and don't worry about it, but we'll have to re-rack that for the for race 2. But let's head to the interview room, see who might be there. And there's Phil. He just pops in. Don't know if we'll have Lilac or not showing up.
I see PDF and Mark Murphy.
Yep, PDF is there. So, LGN, how's PDF's English? Pretty good?
It's okay.
It's okay.
If you know, I can answer back. So.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll bring up PDF here first. We're finishing third.
Asking first if the English is okay or no.
We'll bring him in here.
Should be good.
Pablo Diaz Francis in the booth with Gary, Justin, and Elgin. Would you like to do this in Espanol or English?
Good night, guys. Both of them, if you want.
Well, we have LGN. That's your former teammate. He can translate for you. But let's talk about your race. You were really fast at the end there.
Oh my God, yeah, that yellow at the end just killed me. And I had to go like crazy, man. Highway jogger, like, I don't know, I like a doctor with the apron, man. I don't know how I didn't wreck myself in the last few laps. I even hit the wall at the exit of 2, and my car was good. It was fine.
How did you find the conditions out there? In Fahrenheit, we were dealing with 138 degrees track temperature. Yeah. I'm not sure what that would translate to in Celsius, but
57.
57.
Legion is too hot, man.
Is that the hottest you've ever driven on an oval for track temperature?
Probably. I remember 3 or 4 more Celsius degrees. It's not that much, but wow, really hot, man. Really hot. Yeah, car is really tough to drive.
Well, it's good to finally have you here on the broadcast. We've seen you in a number of these over time, and you've won a couple of these top split broadcasts. So good to have you back here. And we've seen you the last couple of weeks. Hope to see you more for the rest of the season. It's 3 o'clock in the morning your time. So.
Yes. Exactly.
Are you going to come back for the next race, or are you done for the night?
Of course, I'll race.
That is a trooper right there.
Man. No. Doesn't mean it's going to be farming all the week.
Oh, yeah.
Farming, yeah. It's gonna farming iRacing.
iRacing farming. Okay. Okay.
Yes. That's the
well,
worst,
in this track, it's not farming. It's just survive.
It's a gauntlet match. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. While we got you here, any friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs you'd like to make while we got you here on the podium for third place here at Atlanta?
Can you repeat?
you have any shout outs?
¿Algún saludo, algo que quieras decir, agradecimiento, algo?
Always to my team, Neki Racing team, Oscar, Neki, Javi, Bardi. They were spotting me the whole race. They are always there. Always thank you to them.
What about Javier? How long is it gonna take it for race?
Never,
Never. Okay.
Oscar raced today. He returned it again.
Oh, they're talking. This is inside baseball talk right here, folks. This is special
so,
team
basically,
talk.
So basically, they have a guy named Javier. He have the legends over there. He finished
IndyCar
second.
legends,
Yeah, he finished second long time ago, very long time ago. Yeah, so he don't want to race anymore. So, anyways.
Yeah, he has his medal and now he's retired.
Go out kind of on top. Well, congratulations. Get your rest, get your caffeine, and we'll catch you at the next race here in about an hour.
Okay, thank you guys, and thank you for the broadcast.
So no problem. Good to have you here. Good to talk to you.
See ya, guys.
All right, and that is PDF. That is actually the first time we've had him on here, so it's been a while since. Actually, you take that back. We might have been on here before, but it's been a very long time that we get a chance. It's always good to talk to folks that we haven't talked to in a while. Well, here's another person that we haven't talked to in a while. Is PK Phil Kraus, the winner of today's race. Let's see. Let's take a look at the stats here for you. Up 3 spots. You kind of let the you let the guys do the work in front of you. You pass them, and you just kind of cruise on through for this for the win.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously Brandon and Brian got caught up in an incident racing for the lead, and like I was just chilling behind them saving tire, because when I ran this yesterday, I almost blew a left front. I mean, not left front, right front. So yeah, I was just chilling behind them, leaving a healthy gap, saving tire, and honestly, the way they were racing, it didn't look like it was gonna last too long, and that ended up being correct. So yeah, after that, it was pretty much just controlling the race from the lead, and then when the track time jumped up near the end, nobody could really follow too well, so it was just about maintaining track position from there.
Are you liking the twist that kind of iRacing gave everyone? We were kind of expecting a bit of a meme race, but at the end of it, we have a handling race really at the end of this. All things said and done with.
I mean, it's the same as it was last time we went to Atlanta, so yeah, I definitely prefer something like this to a meme race, as you would say. But, yeah, it'd probably benefit from being a little bit colder, just so there's a bit more raceability at the end of the race. But outside of that, yeah, it's a fun combo.
Change the topic real quick. Outlook coming up this week for the Pro Series. How you doing?
I mean, Power Slide and Private Label Team Hype were usually pretty strong on the short ovals, but we know with what's on the line that a lot of people are going to step up their game and try and match us. So we've put in a lot of work so far. Hopefully it'll carry over to a strong result for the team, but you know, everyone's in that series for a reason, so
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, best of luck there for sure. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone to say hi to before we let you go for the night?
Just everyone on Private Label Team Hype and Power Slide Motorsports as always. Our partners, Private Label, Ethica, Shin does our screenshots. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win. Good to see you here racing. We'll check you out either in race 2, or we'll definitely check you out on the NTT IndyCar channel for Thursday night when you guys have your next round there in the Pro Series. Best of luck there, and we'll catch you at the next race, whenever that is.
Yep. Cheers, Gary.
See ya. And Mark's here, and we'll go ahead and bring up Mark as we're getting ready to transition into the podcast portion of the. We'll take a small break here before we do that as well. We'll bring Mark up. Mark, how's it going?
You know, man, Gary, it's that was a wild night. I have no idea
how many cars did you bounce off of?
Say what?
How many cars did you bounce off of?
Well, the deal with Seb at the beginning was netcode, so I actually didn't get any damage from that. About 10 laps in, I got hit in the rear extremely hard by another car, and that gave me wheel damage on my left rear. And then the same car missed pit lane and decided to turn left in front of traffic going 210 miles an hour, and I had nowhere to go. And he hit me on the right rear, so I had damage there. The car was left-hand down this week, and so it was pretty plowy, and you had to use your tools. And whatever damage I got hurt the car mechanically in a way that made it even more left-hand down. It wasn't enough that it was undrivable, but it was definitely a tricky challenge. So I have no idea. I looked up, I was fourth, and somehow, you know, I knew my only shot was just to stay out as long as humanly possible. So I ran that entire long run and you know, full lean, just lifting, taking it easy, trying to stretch it as long as I could, hoping for a yellow. And, you know, one came and it trapped in guys a lap down. And I feel bad for a lot of them like Clindy. I mean, they deserved to finish up there and they didn't. And, you know, thankfully their misfortune with, somebody else's mistake was our good fortune. I still had 25 seconds worth of damage to fix from the first little soiree there. And then, you know, on the last lap, you know, the guy in front checked up and broke my front wing. So that was nice, which wrecked Alexis. And the only reason I came up here, I hope Alexis is watching. I'm so sorry you got collected in that. You deserved to run fifth and I didn't. And I feel so bad that happened. I don't think it was my fault, but I still feel bad about it. So sorry to Alexis, but no idea how I was fifth, but somehow made it work.
Yeah, good to see Alexis back in the lineup. Very similar cars you guys are running, very similar scheme now. I remember when you were asking me like what color you want your IAR car to be. I was like what Alexis had when she was with IAR. So
you know,
very similar.
Was also red. Yeah, they're very similar. So the difference is my car is chrome, and the shades are a little bit different. All of our cars are the same layout, of course, but my car is chrome. Hers was not, and then the shading's a little bit different, and then of course some of the sponsors are a little bit different. Got to thank Admin Box and P1, and you took my car off the screen. I was reading off the side pod, and now you took it away. Where my cheat sheet.
Give it a second; it will come back on your screen.
Got to thank Seven Sam at IR. They did a heck of a job tonight. There was a lot of fun in the Discord. Black Magic Designs for their support. You, Gary, P1. Got to thank Admin Box Race Control at the touch of the button. This was the first night, by the way, that I ran my new gloves from 40 Racewear. So thanks. Shout out to Jim Herrick and thanks for those. Little prize for winning the Dark Horse 500. They were comfy. I wish I could have had them at the front more, but we'll take it.
All right. Well, you going to be around for race 2?
I'm still a little under the weather. Not only that, the break. I don't know if you can hear it. I lost my voice for about 4 days.
That's what you said,
last week, and I wasn't even able to talk until yesterday. Today has been the first day that I've really been full strength. So I think I'm gonna grab some medicine and a cup of hot tea and go to bed. But
probably not a bad idea.
The other thing is the Atlanta Braves are playing the Padres, and there you go. There's one hit to the rear. Thank you, Gary, for showing that.
Just so happened to come up,
a little smack in the back and a little dipsy doo-dah up to the wall. You know, you can't beat that if you can't drive it. I guess just wreck the guy in front of you. That's the main thing, right? He just drove through me there. I mean, I don't know what to do, but just thanks to everybody that supports us. And we've had a lot of bad luck recently, and tonight we got some good luck, and hopefully we can keep that rolling along, man. I wish I'd have had something for Phil, but maybe on an ordinary night with a car that wasn't compromised, we might have. But fifth is a win for me tonight, man.
All right, man. Well, we thought we'd check in with you. Saw you in the waiting room. We're going to let you go. Get some rest. Get that voice rested. That's a money voice for us. He does some broadcasts for us, folks, so we need that voice to be nice and rested. And we'll catch you at the next race, whenever that is. But tomorrow night, I know you'll be back doing the Votive Racing League Boomer Button Boxes IndyCar Oval Series. So everyone that wants to watch that, 7:50 p.m. Eastern, you and Ryan Eric King, and that will be tomorrow. So we want to save you up for then.
That's right. The man that I affectionately call the Wreck and I are going to do 100 laps at Pocono together, and that is going to be absolutely a lot of fun. I've enjoyed calling that series just as much as I've enjoyed racing. I like calling the NTRL too. We did that race last night, and had some alternate strategies, and they do a lot. They do it kind of like Rigney does, where it's shorter fuel tank, very limited tire sets. You got to pick when you take your tires, and there were definitely about 14 different strategies playing out, and that was a lot of fun. I like cerebral races like that, and so if you want to see a Xfinity series that is thought provoking, we got you covered on Monday night, 8 o'clock, and then tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. They've got some great drivers over there in that votive series, and there's some guys that you see on the fringes of this race, and there's some guys you've never heard of, but they are amazing drivers, all of them, and I look forward to calling it for sure.
All right, we'll catch you tomorrow night. It's going to be 7:50 p.m. Eastern. The votive racing league's Boomer Button Boxes Indy Oval Series at Pocono, and then I will be at 8:50 p.m. with the Vigilante Racing League at Kansas. And his race will be mostly done, and flip on over and see us. You got a choice on what you want to watch on Wednesday nights here in P1. Good run for you. We'll catch you at the next race, but get your rest.
Yeah, keep going fast and having fun, Gary.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we have reached that time in the broadcast, which we will do a little bit of an intermission here and get into a small podcast. And normally what we do is we allow everyone to, after all that excitement, to at least stand up, stretch, go get a drink, have a restroom break, and then we'll rejoin everybody here in about 10 minutes from now. So 20 minutes to the top of the hour, and then we'll kick off for some IndyCar discussion. I don't know what we're going to talk about. At first I said I want to definitely talk about Daniel Ricciardo and him being an IndyCar.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting, but we got a whole bunch of things that we haven't talked about yet. We had an FBI raid. We've had some more silly season taking place. We've had some talks of new tracks. So we'll carry that over here in about 10 minutes. So everyone take a 10-minute break, and we will be right back. All right, and we are back here. We'll just let the bumper music kind of run softly in the background. Hopefully it's not too annoying. If it is, just tell us. We'll turn it off. Let's see. Let's go to racer.com, see what's the topics of discussion right now with IndyCar. Chadwick planning next steps after quote-unquote very cool first IndyCar run. Let's talk about Chadwick. This is going to be, first of all, she was testing with Andretti, which that's a whole other story that developed during the week, last week. Do we see her making an impact very early, or just kind of hanging out in the back, kind of learning the ropes? One at a time? Or are we not even... let's see. We even talking? Oh, hold on. Let's get into... All right, how's that? Better?
Mic check.
Mic check. Okay. Anyways, I don't know what was going on.
Okay.
Like I said, the audio settings have been a little bit different with this new computer, and it just sounds a little off, and I don't understand sometimes what's going on. I just need to really dive into what's going on. But anyways, Jamie Chadwick going to be racing for, or did a test for at least Andretti. Do we see her getting into IndyCar next season? And if that, how competitive do we expect her to even be?
I definitely think we could see her at least run part-time next year. I definitely think some team will take up the chance with her, because she's definitely shown she has a lot of ability. She's won races in the category. She's won championships elsewhere. And I really think someone will eventually bite the bullet and give her a shot there. And I think she can do rather well. I think she will need some time to acclimatize, especially to something as high powered as an IndyCar is, and especially so on ovals, I think. But I think a team will at least give her a trial for a few races. It may take some time to acclimatize, but I think she could definitely pull out some surprises. I'm not expecting her to fight for wins early on, of course, but I definitely think there's some potential there, and I know for sure that it's a moment that she herself would be waiting for, and she's definitely going to be chomping at the bit to do it.
What he said.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the first headline. Next, Drugovich hoping for more after first IndyCar test with Ganassi. Again, another driver kind of out of the Formula One ranks. Not an ex-Formula One driver per se. He's the the Formula 2 champion, right? And an Aston Martin test driver. Probably not getting enough seat time over there, and wants to kind of prove himself over here in IndyCar. Wouldn't be the first time that Chips found a diamond in the rough from a Formula One driver not being utilized well in Formula One, and put him in an IndyCar, and they've done well here. Drugovich, do we see him in IndyCar in 2025? And where if we do, well, again, same thing, going to be competitive, better. He's definitely going to have to learn the ropes on the ovals.
That's definitely true, and especially for anyone coming from Formula racing abroad, that's gonna be a challenge for sure. But we've seen a lot of drivers really step up to it and really enjoy them. You look at someone like Roman Grosjean. Grosjean started out just doing road courses, and then eventually kind of warmed up into it, doing some races on the short ovals, and now we see him at every race. So it could well be the case there, or that Drugovich just steps up right to it. As for where and how often, that's a good question, I think, because I could definitely see either or there, whether being a part-time effort or going full-time. And Ganassi does have an empty slot open effectively with the number 8 team. Of course, you got Dixon and Pillow. They're sticking around, obviously, the championship duo.
9 and 10, yep.
Yeah, the 9 and the 10. But with Kiffin Simpson and Linus Lundqvist and Marcus Armstrong, they're not really sure who's going to stick around there. Yeah, it's gonna Marcus Armstrong, of course, recently just signed with Meyer Shank, so that's one wild card out of the picture there. But as for, like, I guess the 3 others that we're discussing now, Simpson, Lundqvist, and Drugovich, it's gonna be that's gonna be a really tough question, I think. I'm not sure if Simpson would be the one they would pick there, but even then, it's gonna be a hard question to ask there. And even then, like, who will take them up there, whether it be like a part-time effort or full-time. But Drugovich, I've watched him a lot in F2 and F3. The dude has a lot of talent, and if he's willing to learn the ovals, that could be a good sign going forward. And of course, we saw, who else came over from European disciplines and not only won races but championships here in IndyCar? Alex Palou.
Justin, next one's for you. Why are they looking at a street race around Texas Stadium when you have Texas Motor Speedway just sitting right there? Why?
Simple. Them boys.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm a Cowboys fan back in the day before the Colts moved to Indianapolis, and even then, I'm just kind of a fair weather fan now since Andrew Luck retired. But I think IndyCar needs another street course, like it needs a hole in the head. And I think that if we're going to do another street course, why there? And then why don't we just go back to? I don't understand what's going on with Texas that we can't just go back to Texas. They haven't reprofiled the place. NASCAR.
One word.
NASCAR.
Ding.
See, they haven't reprofiled the place. They were talking about doing that. They haven't taken a single bulldozer to it, so it's still the same way. I don't understand why NASCAR is being just a little B at that. It's I don't understand it. It just makes me not want to be a NASCAR fan, as if that's what they're going to be like.
Also, does it make me want to return for a one-off if they go back to, if they move Wilkesboro to a points-paying race, or if they go north of the border to Montreal, Quebec, Canada for the first ever Cup race in the province of Quebec?
Mm-hmm.
It's NASCAR shenanigans. They think they're God Emperor of the entire motorsport world when you're literally just an ant underneath Formula One.
Mm.
Yeah, and if that is indeed the case, that really is like endemic of NASCAR's mentality. I definitely agree with you, Justin. They're like this definitely not a charitable way, but they seem like they're content with sniffing their own farts in a lot of regards.
Oh,
they're just like, it's just agonizing to see NASCAR do this, especially since it's been going on nearly 2 decades since NASCAR's peak in the 2000s. Like, they had something genuinely good going for them for quite a while, and they've squandered it. And like, they keep on doubling down and tripling down on a lot of gimmicks that's driving up costs for teams. A lot of the teams are not making money anymore. Even the big dogs, they're not making money anymore. Mm-hmm. And you're pissing off the fans too, especially when you need your core audience now more than ever. Like, I can respect a lot of the things that they wanted to try. The Chicago street race is really cool. I get the idea for the LA race, but it kind of lost its luster really quickly.
Also, didn't help that a hurricane decided to come through and wash out the original date it was supposed to be running.
Yep, that's true.
But speaking of LA and Chicago, rumor is that the Chicago Street Race after next year will be off the schedule. They're not going back to Chicagoland, unfortunately. Instead, they're going to the 619. They're going to San Diego for a downtown race.
San Diego. Okay.
But here's my opinion. If they do go to San Diego, let's not go to downtown because I got a better idea.
That being?
It's still in the San Diego area, but this track hasn't been run since the Camel GT days.
I think I see where you're going with this one.
Let's go back to the Del Mar Fairgrounds.
Yeah, that would be cool. Excellent. And I'm having a look here. The Del Mar Fairgrounds, of course, they're still around.
And you can
that horse racing track.
Yeah, you can still see what's the remnants of the layout. You just have to look real good. Also, there was news that came out from Feeder Series America today.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Jarber Development joins the final Formula R Americas round at COTA at Circuit of the Americas. The two drivers, Bradley Gallant and Haley Deegan, makes her open wheel debut.
Interesting.
She tested an NXT car during the season, didn't she?
No, she did not. She was in the garage area at both Gateway and Iowa, but she did not test. She tested a F3 at Putnam Park.
Okay. Okay. That's a kind of a club road course here in the Indianapolis area, down south of Indianapolis a little bit. All right. Well, that's interesting. Another track that they started talking about again as a possible venue for IndyCar. This is off the IndyCar Latinos website, and I'm going to credit Hickey93 on Twitter. But one of the tracks that I always said I wish was on iRacing, and I never really thought IndyCar would ever go back to it. It was a track that I just certainly wanted to definitely race a new car at a historical track. The Raffaella Oval in Argentina. Apparently, IndyCar is discussing the feasibility of going back to that track for the first time since 1971. So if you're asking yourself, what is so special about this place, Gary? Why do you like it anyways? Of course, you guys all know I like oval racing. This is basically the closest racetrack you will find without the banking to iRacing Superspeedway. That's actually not a test track. This is an actual race course. It is a 2.873 mile paperclip oval. It said it had banking in the curve similar to Michigan, although I was watching some videos of it and it seemed awfully flat. So it seemed more along the lines of what I would say not Gateway, Homestead was when they first redesigned the Gateway. They made it the flat paperclip. 2.8 miles, banking, low banking. I don't even think it's banking enough from Indianapolis. I have to go back and look, but yeah, it's bigger than Indianapolis. They'll go faster than Indianapolis on the straights. But again, they haven't raced there since 1971. Allenser Sr. won a doubleheader there. Lloyd Ruby won one of the pole positions. Allenser Sr. won the other pole position, but he ended up winning both races. So it's not like they haven't been there, but 1971 to 2024, 2025, there's a lot that changes in the area. So there's going to be a lot of changes that need to be made to the racetrack, but that they are actually discussing that, and this is from the IndyCar Latinos website. So it says this Monday, Tony Khanman.
It was which one? It was which one again? Sorry.
It's the IndyCar Latinos website. So IndyCar Latinos.
I meant the name of the circuit. I was trying to look it up.
The Raffaella Oval in Argentina. So it says This Monday, Tony Kottman, IndyCar's head of safety, and Ricardo Juncos, co-owner of Juncos Hollinger Racing, toured the Rafala Oval, where IndyCar held its first date in 1971 season, which was the first official presentation of the category outside of North America in its history. And that's actually true. But it's if you just type in the Rafala Oval, you can find it in Wikipedia. If you just go to type in 1971 USAC Champ Car season.
Let's see. Looking at
and what's ironic about it?
The Rafala. Hear it? Yeah. Look at this.
And
oh my
what's ironic about it? Mark Miles said he didn't want to go to old tracks from IndyCar's past. What's this?
This is a very old track from IndyCar's past, and Mark Miles needs to shut the hell up.
Yeah,
the dude seriously needs to listen to the fans, and he can think the fans don't know what they're talking about and all that stuff. But if I have to see a season that has 5 ovals, and then it has like 4 permanent road courses, and all the rest are made up of street courses, I might revolt and just say I give up IndyCar other than what's on iRacing. I no more street courses, guys. No more. That you've proven that street course. You cannot design a good street course. Look at Nashville, and I'm sorry, that's not a good course. And the reason I say that is that there's a YouTube page that actually is now making a bunch of money. And it's funny, and I support them because it brings a lot of attention to the sport. But it's they do comedy reviews of IndyCar races, and they started their very first comedy review. FP1 will, and I love them because I'm one of their Patreons. But they started making their comedy reviews when IndyCar first started doing the road course at Nashville. So that's not a good course there. And certainly the Detroit one, I don't care if it goes by the GM headquarters and Ford headquarters 5 times a lap. It's an awful course. And if you're going to have good street courses, make them good. Long
Belle
Beach
Isle was better.
Yeah, Belle Isle was way better. Long Beach, way better. St. Pete, that took a while, but that's also a good course now. I think Toronto is still a good course. But if you're going to keep introducing these street courses they're easy, they're cheap to put on, and you have to worry about infrastructure, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but is the racing good? No.
Yeah.
No, the answer is no.
Back to the whole Dallas thing. It's going to have to happen before May. Because one reason.
Heat? Football?
No. The World Cup, 2 of the matches, 9 matches will be hosted at Jerry World from June 14th through July 14th in Arlington at AT&T Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to have huge implications on IndyCar's schedule. And Toronto will host 6 matches between June 12th and the 2nd of July.
And that's for 2025?
26.
So I'm about to say 2025 has already been scheduled, so yeah, 2026. Okay. I don't know hockey or soccer, so I don't know hockey either. But I don't. Yeah. Although I was in Germany in '90 when they won the World Cup, and that's about the only time I enjoyed soccer because there were other people around me that were enjoying it, and they won the World Cup of that year, and it was like the 4th of July over there. So that was pretty cool, but. Anyways, the other one I want to talk. Let's talk about Daniel Ricciardo. We got about 15 minutes here before we start gritting up for the next race here. But Daniel Ricciardo still says that IndyCar scares him. Danny, my man, Danny. Grow a set, would you? Jesus. Okay, look, dude. All right, look. No one, first of all, if you come to IndyCar, no one's throwing you in the car and pointing out to the Indianapolis Oval and saying, go. No one does that. They wouldn't even take you out to Iowa and say, look, there's a small oval, go. They won't even take you out to a road course and say, there's a road course that you're used to running, go. There's something called the Rookie Orientation Program. And they're going to put you in the car and they're going to bring you up to speed in a controlled and gradual process. And then at that point, the drivers evaluate you, and you're not just getting evaluated by any drivers. You're getting evaluated by some of the best in IndyCar history. I know Arie Luyendyk's one of the people that evaluates. Max Pappas used to evaluate people. Johnny Rutherford evaluated people. Al Unser Sr. back in the day evaluated people. Bobby Unser did it as well. If they determine that, you're not cut out for this thing, they'll tell you when you're not cut out for this thing. But don't sit there and say, oh, IndyCar scares me. That, I think, is kind of insulting to every other Formula One driver that jumped in the car and actually said, hey, you know what? This isn't that bad. And that's exactly what Ericsson has said to him.
Yeah, and I recall a couple of years ago, in fact, that Max Verstappen was actually saying much of the same thing if he was going to give a crack at IndyCar at one point. And, yeah, it's definitely not the best look for them, especially when a lot of F1 drivers have gone to Indianapolis and they've done really well for themselves. I mean, Fernando Alonso, as much as
Nigel
the IndyCar
Mansell.
diehards hate to say it, he had one of the cars to beat in 2017. He was on track to possibly win that 500. And Romain Grosjean, as I mentioned before, he warmed up to the IndyCar ovals. He didn't start with the ovals, but eventually he warmed up to them.
Oh, Nigel Mansell.
Nigel Mansell.
Emerson
Mansell
Fittipaldi.
just jumped right, Mansell just jumped right into it. I mean, that was Nige for you. Nigel was definitely the kind that would do that. And Emo came back after retirement F1, I believe, to race an IndyCar. And, I mean, look at him. Like, 3 Indy 500s later. I mean... Like,
2 would have been 3. But that's what happens when you throw orange juice at the eye of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway gods.
Salty about that one.
And, they'll throw you into the wall, and that costs you a win when you have a lap lead on the entire field with about 15 laps to go. But anyways, I'm just, come on, Danny, come on, man, just grow a set, would you? Just try it out, and then if you don't like it, you don't like it, and you'll be told if you're any good at it anyways, and then just walk away. But don't sit there and say IndyCar still scares me. I tell you what, really, those cars are probably a lot more safer than the Formula One cars, because it's they're not dealing with 10 different engineered bodies out there. You're all in the same car. That's proven itself over a number of years. I mean, possibly, yeah. I think they're actually in a safer car in the Indy car with the enclosed cockpit versus the Halo over Formula One. But Danny, you're not endearing me as a friend at all or as a fan at all if you're going to sit there and say IndyCar scares me, because it's kind of insulting to any other Formula One driver that's come over, and not just the ones we've talked about, but there's a number of, Bottas is actually talking about coming over and racing in IndyCar, and he didn't seem to hesitate.
Yeah, and I think the thing for me, though, is, like, I get it if IndyCar scares you. Like, I'm sure it does for him, but I mean, I definitely also subscribe to the don't knock it till you try it sort of thing.
Right.
So, yeah, like, I would say, like, especially since Danny seems to be weighing a lot of options here, I could definitely see him go the sports car racing route that a lot of drivers have as well. But IndyCar is another one as well. So, but he doesn't seem to be set on anything. So it could be that you put him in a test at Sebring, for instance, next in the preseason test. He does a few races and he starts to warm up to it a little bit. I'm gonna say if you get a headline that Danny Ricciardo is going to be testing out an IndyCar at sometime either later this year, early next year, or sometime in the middle, I would not be surprised at all. At the same time, it's going to be a question mark where he's going to go, but I think it could still be on the table. It just needs to be given a bit of time. I could definitely see him like flirt with sports car racing though to start with. So it's a lot of question marks for him, but I definitely think it's going to come back to the point where he's like, he says himself he's still got the fire in him to compete. And if he's going to, he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll give this a crack. Maybe I'll call up a team and say, hey, I want to give this IndyCar thing a try on a road course to start with. So you could start to like ease him into him that way.
Yeah. Other big news item is Ed Carpenter Racing has a new co-owner. Big Saccharin, Big Sugar has joined. Actually, the owner of Splenda, the competitor to Sweet and Low, there is now the owner of our co-owner there.
Technically, Splenda isn't sugar.
It's saccharin.
Yep.
Actually some big money getting infused in the Carpenter Racing for the first time in a while. And as a result, they're going to pick up Rossi and they're going to race with Rasmussen next year. And I would imagine they're going to do 3 cars for Indy, although I don't know if it might be time for Ed just to hang him up. I don't know. I hate saying that. Guys won 3 pole positions in Indianapolis, and we've seen that his cars, certainly with VK piloting them, are going to be fast enough to be contenders at Indianapolis, at least for the pole and the fast 9, fast 12, whatever they're going to run during pole day, or pole weekend. What do we think of the new Ed Carpenter Racing squad and new infusion of money that they have?
Honestly, that's a boon for them. It really is. It's like Ed Carpenter Racing, they've kind of been on the down low in a lot of ways, especially from like a sponsor standpoint after Fuzzy's Vodka stopped appearing on their cars.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think especially coming from Splenda, that could be really interesting because it's a trend I've been seeing a lot of in not just IndyCar, but racing in general. NASCAR is probably one of the worst examples of this. That, of course, we know the bread and butter of sponsorships for the longest time was consumer products, and Splenda definitely fits under that category. But it's been on the decline quite a bit in the last little while there. It's great to see someone that has a brand that people recognize in their day-to-day lives, showing up there and really backing a team, especially one of the a team that is one of the smaller teams by comparison, but has a lot of potential. As you said, Rinus VK can definitely compete for wins. He's won races for them, of course. Ed Carpenter, I'm gonna have to see how he's still doing on the oval side of things. Of course, as you said, 3 poles at Indy is nothing to scoff at, but it's been a while since we've seen Ed Carpenter take a win. And Rasmussen, you got the young talent there. There's a lot of good stuff to consider, and I think this could be really good. And if it can be a small way to sort of get consumer brands back involved in the auto racing realm, that could be really cool to see. Especially after Target stopped sponsoring Ganassi. I still miss those paint schemes.
They had every product they sold in the Target was also a decal on the side of those cars.
Yes, it was.
All right. Well, we're about 5 minutes away from getting into the next session here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Already seeing 39 folks signed in, so we'll see what type of race we get here for race 2. That's about really it from kind of the news. There is a charter program. There's still probably a lot to be tanked to talk about that. Logan Sargent is going to get a test with Meyer Shank. Of course, we did hear that VK departs Ed Carpenter, although I think it's the other way around. It's Ed Carpenter gives the boot to VK. And then the other thing is we have the FBI rating Rahal Letterman, and then, of course, Michael Andretti taking a step down at Andretti Autosport, which we're not quite sure for what real reasons that happened either, but not enough time to really get into all that stuff, just kind of scratching the surface of the first lead of headlines over on Racer. But we're about 3 minutes away from getting into the next race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Looking at our upcoming schedule for the Oval Series, some things worth mentioning before we get into the next round here. Next week, we'll return back to a single race at Motegi. That will be at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Then the week after, which will be the 15th, that we will be at Las Vegas. So all of the October races are going to be the same time, no change. It's when we get into November. In fact, the very first race of November where we are post time change. So the time change is for the United States, and I believe it's also Canada as well, and Mexico, on the 3rd, sometime in the middle of the night of Sunday the 3rd of November 3rd. We had a scheduled race that we were going to cover for the 5th. However, the 5th is Election Day in America. So we've discussed that with the community manager, which is Robert Molechka of the Oval Series, and we thought it might be best to move that race to that Friday. So election week coming up in November, not only will be the first 7:15 p.m. race that we'll hold, but we'll also be holding that on Friday. So we got a small schedule change coming up a little over a month from now. Just be looking for it. We'll remind you as we get into that. But until then, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, same place, same channel. We're not going to go anywhere. And that includes next week here at Motegi. Then we will go off to Las Vegas the week following, Milwaukee, and then Indianapolis. And then the week following Indianapolis is when the time change occurs. And that's when we will have a Friday race. Then we'll return back to the normal Tuesday time slot but although at 7:15. So hopefully everyone understands that. We got that squared away. No longer going to be a problem again. We'll remind everybody leading up to that plenty of time, so you will know, and you won't be tuning in on a Tuesday night instead of watching election returns, or maybe avoiding election returns. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just glad the election season is almost over. Let's put it that way. So go ahead. We got a couple minutes here.
So I'm looking at the entry list, and it's someone that I ran against in one of the hosted races that David Land put on 4 years ago when we were all in lockdown. He's currently an Indy Next driver. Jable. Jacob Abel.
Okay.
Wow.
Abel Racing?
And funny little story.
His family owns that team?
Funny story about me and that race that me and Jable were in. It was the recreation of the USAC Music 500, which featured not just previous IndyCar chassis, but sprint cars as well. And in the sprint car side, me and Jable went at it, and it's still up on David Land's YouTube channel. It came down to a literal photo finish, and me and Jable wrecked coming across the line. The margin of quote unquote victory between me and him, 2 1,000ths of a second.
Woo. Damn.
Woo. All right, I think we're getting ready to see a split here, so let's see what we got.
Cue the elevator music.
I got a little music still playing in the background, so that will be muted when we get into the race here. So sometimes you got to wait a hot minute or two after the session locks itself out before they start giving you the splits here.
And what does it sound like when in the crowd when everybody has to wait for it to roll over?
Perfect. Did they actually hear that on that soundboard?
Yeah, that's they would have heard that. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Beautiful.
This is what we do when we wait when it goes to 8:15. Is we sit and we twiddle our thumbs for the next couple of minutes, waiting for iRacing to give us a split. Which we're now a minute past, and we got splits. 19 cars split 590 is the session number.
Oh, 4.3. Sorry, I come back. Sorry.
Hey,
LGN's here, everybody.
back. You missed the podcast, dude.
Are you back driving for Necky Racing again?
You know what? I feel like so when I was in New Zealand by myself, they was with me around. I remember New Year. I was racing something. I don't remember. I think so, Daytona, with the IndyCar, and he was naked next to me, spotting me and talk to me. So it was oh, what, kind of weird. But when he talk with them, it's that remembers things. But it's okay. So they say if you wanna come back to say hi, just do it.
That's how I met you for the first time. You were driving the pink cars. That's how I met you.
All of them pinks. All
So
of
is
them.
it 590?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And still, I asking for everyone. It's it's still around. Some of them no. So it's okay.
And that is sounds a little bit better this time. They're not as. So I can probably turn it up some. That's probably better. All right, let's get the overlay loaded in, and we are getting ready to go qualifying here.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Lee warming up his engine. Giving away trade secrets here. Normally what we do is here, I'll just set the little inside baseball here. Set it on most exciting, and it should auto go between cars here while we watch qualifying. And then trading paint should catch up. Weather conditions, 84 degrees ambient, 123 degrees track temperature.
That can change. I mean, as we've seen.
All right.
So I'm looking at what are the paint schemes?
Mm-hmm.
Car number 19. We have a 2003 Champ Car paint scheme.
Ah. Oh, yeah.
It's Paul Tracy's.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. There we go, and we'll get back into this. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Tuesday night top split. here on P1, where we're doing race 2 of the week here for a 2-race doubleheader tonight at Atlanta. We've got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to play here before qualifying's over. We'll get into race 2 momentarily. There's Mitch David. He did not have a good first race. He's going to look to improve on that.
Oh, yeah. Early qualifying time starting to come in. Stephen Lee right now on provisional pole. Still early days, though, by comparison, with 2 minutes left to play. I'm keeping an eye on Brandon Trost, who's starting to make his way off of pit road. Run down the apron, and usually these guys are going to start and do their first lap rather slow to keep the tires underneath them, and then go for it on the second lap. Tracia did now to the top of the board, 23.3.
Yeah, 2:33.9. Mitch David, 2:33.5. Watching for Porty, staying right down there on that red line. The old IRL line around this place.
Trost now starting to get up to speed. This is the driver I'm keeping my eye on. He's in the number 1 car.
Benedetti, 2:34 flat. For Porty, 2:33.6, provisionally 4th. Fortson, 2:33.8, provisionally 3rd. Campbell, back at the top, 2:33.9. He was on the front row for the first race.
2 fast runners from the last race. Fast again, it would seem. Benedetti and Campbell. And hopefully this race goes better for both of them.
First lap for Brandon Trost, 25.321. Hugs that white and red line as he comes through 3 and 4. Let's see if he goes below that line. Yes, he will.
Yep.
And the qualifying time is going to be
3:32. That's P3 for Brandon Trost.
perfect. He timed it perfect. He timed it perfect because right when it kicked over, it took him off the track.
Yeah.
Yep, it did.
Well, let's get all this cleared off, and let's get in today's starting lineup.
Stevie, take it away.
And only 19 cars on the grid here tonight. The splits seem to have split into 3 tonight of 18 and 19. Tiago Benedetti this time, swapping positions with Brian Campbell on that front row. Benedetti on the pole in the 15. Brian Campbell's number 4 in second place. Brandon Trost third like he was last time on the grid in the number 1. And he'll be alongside Tracia did. Fast once again. Can he get a better result than last time as well in the number 2 car in 4th place? I have the same question for Trost, really. Tristan Fortson in the 16. First time appearance for him, I believe, that I've seen. He will start off 5th alongside Seb Alexander, looking for a little bit of comeuppance after that incident on the very first lap in the last race. Will start 6th. Adriano Fraporti will be 7th in the number 7, alongside Ty Quilla's number 3 in 8th. John Silva will start off 9th, alongside Alan Morea back in the top split again in 10th place. Pablo Diaz-Francis, 3rd last time out, of course. He will start 11th tonight. He's got some work to do, alongside Mitch David, once again looking for any sort of a better result than last time, really, because that was a hard one to take for Mitch David. Daniel Durazo will start 13th in the number 18 machine, alongside Dustin Cares in the 13. Crash Neon, what a great name that is, will start 15th in the number 17, alongside the 9 of Jacob Collins. Stephen Lee struggled there in qualifying in 17th place in the number 11, alongside Dylan Moskowitz in 18th place in the 10, and shotgun on the field, Delaney Calhoun in the 19 car in P19. So, now getting ourselves underway. It's going to be 75 more laps, and some familiar names, some new ones, and I got to tell you, I think we're going to have some more chaos here tonight before this is over.
Well, certainly those that have raced in race 1 are going to expect that wheel spin. Those that haven't raced yet might get caught out. We'll see if they've raced any earlier sessions that are aware of that.
And look who's joining us in the booth. It's Kyle Klemberg.
Hey everyone, I had a internet issue and my registration for this race did not happen, so I can commentate.
Damn. Could be a saving grace given what we saw last time, eh?
Nope, I wanted to be out there. I deserved to podium tonight, and the universe said no. So here I am.
Yeah, it said no to a lot of drivers, really.
Yeah.
Being honest with you, bud.
Track temp of 128. It's definitely going to be rising. I guarantee you, we're probably going to hit 138 again when we take the checker flag. Stevie,
Yeah.
they're coming off of turn 4.
The track got toasty last time. It's starting off hot again, and Hotlanta, I think, is going to have a lot more in store for us. 75 more laps. And going to be a 2-race show. Green flag flies, and Benindetti and Campbell get off to an even
Car
start.
spinning.
And here comes Trost already.
Car spinning already down the back on the front stretch.
Uh-oh. Car spinning already. Who is that?
That is the 19 of Delaney Calhoun.
Calhoun gathers it up, though. No caution. But Trost already on the attack on the inside of Brian Campbell for P2, and he clears him. Now going to take a stab at Tiago Benindetti for the race lead. And looking down on the low side again. Ooh, the move that that cost him any sort of a good result last time. Backs out of it this time around, and we've gotten a green flag lap clean on the start of this race.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Whoa,
Yeah,
good Lord.
Trost is really giving it his all there, and Benindetti on the radio, he's saying, why are you being so aggressive here? Well, I think for Trost it's pretty elementary. He wants to get in front and preserve the tires as much as possible. And look at Fortson, Treston Fortson in the 16, looking on the inside of Campbell for third, and is bringing Trey Shadid into the fight.
Tyquella bounced off the wall as they came off of turn 2. Everybody was scattering to make sure that they didn't run into him in case he lost it again.
And that is a lot of spots lost for Tyquilla all the way down to 9th, and Pablo Diaz-Francis to the inside will clear him as well, so that's down to 10th place after a good start for Tyquilla, and that was unfortunate as everyone's starting to get themselves into some semblance of order and get themselves into their fights.
Yeah, some semblance of order. They're getting single file here, but I'm looking at Adriano Fraporti and a number of other guys that are in this pack right here for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Oh, PDF. So there it is.
Fraporti and Pablo Diaz-Francis collide off of turn number 2. Caution is out. Unbelievable. And PDF on the radio is not happy with Fraporti for that one.
In his response, all he said was, always the same guy.
Oh,
He just got loose off the corner, it looks like.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's been a common theme tonight, it would seem. Loose off the corner, and I know Clendy, you saw a few of those firsthand in the race last time.
Yeah, the track really washes you up from the bottom to the top, and the car feels like it's in a 4-wheel slide the entire time. So racing too wide on corner exit is a big ask out of this setup and this temperature. So whenever you have somebody beneath you or outside you, you really have to work those tools to get the car to exit correctly, and then it'll just snap on the straightaway. It looks like what happened to Adriano there.
Yeah, and I think we saw that a couple of times in the last race too, and I get the sense that this isn't going to be the last time either.
Yep, it happened on the last lap. Alexis Newsom turned sideways trying to get around for Porty and Murphy, and I was able to capitalize and got around her as she was also in a 4-wheel slide and did an awesome job saving it.
Yeah, we saw that was a hairy moment for sure, and like I said, we're not going to be starved of those tonight. I don't think we already haven't been.
Now, Clinty, one of your teammates, Jacob Collins, dipping down pit road to get topped off.
Probably the play. He'll be able to go longer than everyone else on this green flag stop. To avoid a green flag stop, it looks like he and Dylan Moskowitz are both in that boat. So they're going to be able to go about 5 to 8 laps longer than everyone in front of them on fuel here.
They may be able to go 7 to 8 laps longer on fuel, but I know you'd agree with me on this one, and I said it in the first race. Tire management is going to be key, especially with the hot track temperature.
It is so critically important. You lose nearly a second a lap at the end of these runs. After 25, 30 laps, especially if you race like Trost out there, like you lose that second immediately. Like it's so fast. You lose so much time to people who short pit. I got leapfrogged by 4 people who took the undercut and by 4 people who pit under the first caution last race. So, I restarted 11th after the Carlos Washington crash.
Oh, Thiago is flashing out. Yeah.
Yeah, Benedetti having some connection issues there, and it's not looking too pretty right now for the 15. No, he hasn't popped up.
Still not back.
Still not back, and it's cratering right now. I'm looking at there, and this could be a connection failure for Thiago Benedetti. It looks like it is. He's being scored in 18th place. So I think this is going to be a connection failure for Thiago Benedetti, and oh my goodness, like
this
is going to be a night he's going to want to forget.
Who's grinning ear to ear right now? Brian Campbell. He's sitting right on Trost's gearbox, and he gets to be the aggressor now instead of the man who was aggressed upon.
Yes, that is definitely true. Oh, how the tables, and there goes. Thiago Benedetti is out of the race with a connection failure out of second. Oh my goodness. Again, just like a night that Benedetti will want to forget. But maybe Campbell can get some vengeance for last time, especially considering how each other feel about that situation, which I'm going to assure you has not changed at all.
Nick Sudik checking in chat. Nick, get in here, man. Get in here.
Come on, Nick, get in.
It's a doubleheader party. Get in here, man. Green flag.
Out of the right minute. Trost is in the throttle. Green flag flies. Brian Campbell staying with him on this one. Trost all the way down on the apron, trying to throw Campbell out of his slipstream into turn number 1. A fat lot of good that'll do in the long term, I'd say. As Campbell, again, like a little bit of draft breaking there from Brandon Trost, but Campbell is trying to get back on the bumper of Brandon Trost and try to probably do, gearbox anyway.
Attenuator.
Yeah, attenuator. Yeah.
Trost just messed up. The apron is slower.
There's it is, and he just.
It is.
You're right.
If he
closed.
Does it again, Campbell will be there.
For his sake, he had better realize that Brian Campbell is closing.
Come on, Brian, get it!
Oh, look at this. Trost again gets his left sides on the apron. Campbell is there. And Tristan Fortson is the interested spectator. He's catching up to both of them.
Yeah, he's throwing his hat in the ring and says, hey, guys, I want to join this fight, too.
Right here, you're watching a guy in front of Brian Campbell here, who has 1,142 wins on iRacing.
Yeah, I have 151.
That's Campbell now trying to see any sort of opportunity here. It's still relatively early days, working lap number 12 of 75. But
he's got the run.
Critical to do so. Oh, Trost again. Left side's on the apron. He's holding that defensive posture on the low side of the track. But can he hold that for too much longer, especially with Campbell trying to maximize momentum on corner exit. And now Fortson trying to stick his nose in this fight.
Fortson realized that they were getting a little too squirrely up there. He backed out of it to try and mount up another run as Brian Campbell and Trost are still side by side going through 1 and 2 here. Trost with the momentum as they come off of turn 2. Fortson with the draft, using the draft of Brandon Trost, is going to pull him to try and get by Brian Campbell here as they go through 3 and 4.
Here comes Fortson, still wheel to wheel with Campbell, and Campbell gives up the spot to Tristan Fortson. So let's see some, definitely the first time I've ever seen Tristan Fortson compete in the top split in the series. And let's see what he can do at the front of the field, no less, against Brandon Trost of all drivers.
Trost making a name for himself recently. He's been in these splits often, and he has been getting more and more competitive these past few seasons. Excited to see him take the fight.
Yeah, and that's someone, I think the LGN was having some issues there. But Yeah, Fortson, that being the case, this really is his time to shine here on the broadcast.
Oh, car's crashing back straight. Oh, what a hit to the inside wall. Justin Cares, Seb Alexander.
Oh, one car up and over and into the catchments. That is Dustin Cares.
And he was sent flying. It looked like, oh yeah, there was,
God.
again, looks like loose race car with Seb Alexander got loose on the high side of the track.
Oh,
and comes right down into Cares, and from there, chaos.
Oh. Goodness.
Oh my gosh. And Cares said himself on the radio, major netcode was involved in that one. Let's have a look.
What in the hell?
Oh yeah, what was that? Looking at it a bit closer.
I'm gonna call that a Scandinavian shipwreck, and if you were on the fixed Discord last night, that'll kick you right where it hurts.
There is, as Justin once said, there is so much more room for activities there. And the dreaded netcode strikes again.
Oh, man.
And Seb Alexander, as well as Thiago Benedetti, this has been a night he's definitely going to want to forget anytime soon.
Guys, big implications here. Trost, Silva, and Benedetti all stayed out. Everyone else pit. Forporti had damage. I don't think he's competitive, but those front three are going to be sitting ducks.
Oh, yes, they are.
We're going to have to wait for a caution like around lap 30 or 40 and hope to put new tires on later, because I think the rest of the field can make it here with a slight fuel save.
It's definitely possible, especially with the amount of yellow we've been seeing over the last few races. So Campbell, Shadid, David, Quilla, all these guys that pitted. Interesting call here, but it has a lot of potential.
Yeah, Collins came in again. I thought he would stay out since he would go a little bit longer to everyone.
I think you can make it from here, Gary.
Yeah.
So Collins could make it.
Yeah, make it from here.
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
I've got to go tell them the number because it's my job. I will be right back.
But yeah, when these cars wreck, they wreck.
And
Stevie would know because he's seen me wreck.
Okay, here comes Benedetti, but he's way off the pace right now. But Raporti coming in and giving up third spot. But really, Silva and Trost are the ones that are going to do a bit of a gamble here. I think we got a shout out for Silva in chat. Yeah, there it is, Daniel. Daniel shouting him out. We'll get Silva there on the camera here for you. There you go.
Say this though, Stevie, we have come a long way in terms of crash physics for the IndyCar iRacing.
I would agree. It's definitely it's better now than it used to be, but the netcode is still the problem child, I think, in that regard.
Well, the speeds here make the netcode worse. Because we're going so fast, the predictive text or the predictive code thinks the car is in several more places than it could be. It thinks of the simulation of anywhere the car could go in the next frame, which is 1/60th of a second. And we're going 240 miles an hour. That's a lot of places you could go.
Exactly. Yeah, that is a lot for a computer to handle there, and it can lead to a lot of chaos, as we see quite with alarming regularity, I'd say, especially at a fast track like this.
Getting ready to go green at lap 20. Trost your leader. Silva up 7 spots to P2. Campbell third. The other big gainers, Mitch David in up 6. Stephen Lee in 11th, up 6. And Moskowitz up 6. But Trost, great start.
Good start for Brandon Trost again, going down on the apron, going into turn 1. Now John Silva seeing that and trying to catch up and bring the fight to him. And Brian Campbell, one of the first guys on fresh tires. That is going to be, I think that's going to be a big advantage for him going into this stint. Lap 21 now. And now he's got Tristan Fortson now behind him. As right now the leaders once again getting into a tussle.
You're not going to see that advantage right away. Campbell needs to save fuel here, so he's not going to use his tires to pass the leaders, but it looks like Fortson's going to.
Yeah, it looks like Fortson's going to be going for position and moves back up into third place behind Silva and Trost. Of course, Silva and Trost running a very different strategy than the rest of the guys here, but you're definitely right there, Kyle. Brian is going to have to save fuel, and so is Trey Shadid, Ty Quilla, Mitch David, Alan Morea.
How much
These guys are going to
save?
have to save it.
So I don't want to say the number on the broadcast in case other teams are listening, but the save is not hard, but it's not easy. I'll say it's a medium save.
Okay.
Okay.
Middle of the ground save.
Yeah, you're going to have to put some effort into it, but you can do it.
If you knew how to do some division and you know the track length and you know the miles to go, you can figure it out at home. I'll post a formula later.
All right.
So basically, fuel strategy for dummies.
Yeah.
In a sense,
Fortson.
contact there. Fortson gets a hip check there with John Silva. Gathers it up, though. No one is spun. Fortson tucks in behind Silva once again. But that was a hairy moment at around 225 miles an hour. Like, that is just incredible they kept it together like that.
Yeah, a little too close for comfort there.
Do you like the livery of Daniel Durazo's car? The Corona colors kind of pop on that one. The blue, the kind of the Chargers, the Chargers baby blue with the white and the yellow. Yeah, I like it. Oh, Stephen Lee, apron bad.
Oh, yeah, Stephen Lee having some, yeah, that was a touch of the apron there, and, oh, thing got really squeamish. Not fun at all for Stephen Lee. Up in the 10th after starting 17th, but still.
Now, you were talking about the scheme for Daniel Durazo. I recognize that scheme. That is Rodolfo Levin's 2004 Champ Car scheme.
Silva,
He was running for
Fortson.
Derek Walker.
At side by side, Fortson getting this position on Silva. Move Treston up to P2. Now can he run down Brandon?
Good question, I would say. Everyone here on roughly the same ground tire-wise, but Fortson starting to catch up a little bit to Brandon Trost, but Trost can play excellent defense as we have seen. Meanwhile, Brian Campbell kind of struggling to get back up into this fight here.
Yeah, he's trying to save.
Yeah, that's true. Also trying to save, almost forgot there. Shadid and Morea in the same boat.
I'd be surprised if Campbell lets Shadid and Morea by, just because he's lost contact with the trio up front.
Probably a good idea, really, especially with the draft of the car in front. You can save quite a bit more fuel than you would just by punching a hole in the air here. As Shadid closing right up on the gearbox of Brian Campbell. We'll see if that's the idea that Campbell has in mind.
Durazo going through 1 and 2, almost got into the back of Mitch David. He had to back out of it tremendously, but he got it back.
Gathers it up and still sitting right behind Mitch David. This is the battle for 8th. And Stephen Lee trying to stick his nose in the fight as well. And right behind them, Crash Neon, great name, by the way, and Dylan Moskowitz.
Yeah, but is that his real name, though?
It's not.
Yeah,
I know iRacing tends to
unless
frown
their
at
parents
the...
were massive fans of Crash Bandicoot, I don't know.
I know iRacing tends to frown at the aliases. Mitch David going high there. He's up in the old Clindy line. We noticed that you were up on the high line a lot in that first race there, Clindy.
Yeah, passed a bunch of guys up there. No one else wanted to go there because it eats your tires up. So I definitely paid for it. That's why I couldn't reel in Pablo. But seriously, 1 or 2 laps up there takes, I'd say, 3 to 5 laps of tire life away.
Ouch. That's really, really big case of short-term gain, long-term loss. But Mitch David seemed like he wanted to try it.
Yeah, you also get up in that tire clag as well as the dirt and stuff.
Clag. Love it.
Yes, I am
David
sophisticated.
Hobbs. David Hobbs.
Yep.
And we just need an engine to blow, and we got a couple ammo out there.
Yep.
Or Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah. Oh, how we miss him. And Steve Matchett as well, and
Bob
Bob Barstow,
Matchett
of
would do the
course.
kablamo. There was always like
Yeah.
one IndyCar race a year when NBC was doing Formula One and IndyCar that they would always have the Formula One guys in the booth. And it always seemed to be like one of the oval races. Which is yeah.
Of course, remember Auto Club Speedway 2015.
Yes.
Take a drink every time Steve Matchett says "Wow."
Yeah.
You die. Alcohol poisoning.
Or
Yeah.
we could get somebody else back. But I don't know if he'd want to. It's
What?
a great day for a motor car race.
Yes.
We can just get Ryan Walker in the booth for us again. He's basically our version of him.
Yes.
Same accent. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Perfect.
Campbell clipped the apron as he came off of turn 4 there. He's going to lose at least maybe 2 spots. He's already lost 1 as they go through turn number 2.
And Shadid backs out of the move, so Campbell does have that draft that he may have been looking for, and Ty Quilla now taking advantage of the lost momentum from Shadid, move him up a spot into P6.
All right, now we got teammate versus teammate here. Clindy, what's the plan when you guys get this close? Not hit each other, first of all.
Trace. We like Trace a lot, so we feel bad boxing him in here. But it looks like Ryan's going to let I slot in behind him, and I would assume we're going to swap the 3-car in front here, so that way Ryan can save a little more gas.
It's ironic though. We can hear them on the radio. They're talking strategy, fuel strategy.
Yeah, and it's good to consider it. We're getting close to the halfway mark of this race. We're pretty much at the halfway mark. Lap 38 of 75. So we're definitely within the window that if you come into pit, you're good on fuel till the end for the leaders. But when do they do it?
So the only 2 that are going to need to pit under green are going to be Trost and then Silva. Everyone else will be able to go within 5 of the finish. So they're going to look for either a caution to help them stretch that, or they're going to save the fuel on the track and go all the way green.
Yeah, the latter is definitely what Campbell's doing.
I'm like you, Gary. I saw Trace get a little bit of oversteer coming off the turn
I saw
2
that,
there.
and I saw Stephen Lee about make greetings with the turn 2 wall there.
Yeah. Oh, same true with who was that? Was that Mitch David? David actually got. If he didn't touch the wall, he came extremely close. Gathers up the car though.
He's decided
still
he's gonna
running
stay
that high
high,
groove that we
yeah.
were talking about.
Yeah, he tried to run the Larson line, but he was living on the razor's edge there and a little too close for comfort.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Durazo getting a run on the bottom. Oh!
Yeah, Durazo with a huge run there, backs out. He can't really take advantage of it there. But Durazo seeming to have the better tires, and we have PDF getting in the middle of this fight here. Currently 6 laps down in 17th. Staying out of the way of this fight in the top 10. But Pablo Diaz-Francis involved in that collision with Adriano Fraporti earlier on in this race. That's what's put him well down the order after finishing on the podium last time.
Shadid getting more and more oversteer coming off of turn 2 there.
Yeah, that is... I don't think Trace is having a lot of fun with this car, perhaps.
Let's watch him. How much does he counter steer when he comes off?
Track temp of
a little bit.
133.
It's creeping up again, folks. Track temp is getting hotter.
So Keela has gotten in front of Campbell, and I think that those are the first 2 cars that have saved enough to make it on fuel. But they're now more than half a lap down to Brandon Trost.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at the run Shadid got going underneath Brian Campbell as they go through 1 and 2 here. Campbell backs out of it and just says, okay, Trace, go.
That's all he needed, really. Trace did, moving up into 6th. And Mitch David now looking on the low side of Campbell. Whoa, Campbell! Campbell slapped the wall there a little bit, I think. Gathers it up.
He got super glued to the wall.
Yeah, that was magnets in turn 4, it would seem, for Brian Campbell. And he's lost a ton of momentum and a couple of track positions down to 9th. Stephen Lee sitting behind him. Hey.
Trace did, and I believe that is Mitch David
Yeah, it is Mitch David.
Yeah, it is.
throwing haymakers at each other.
Yeah, David really trying to make up for everything bad that happened in the last race for him and move himself up into 6th. And now Durazo trying to take a run at Shadid side by side. Very close stuff. Durazo. Shadid backs out and gives Durazo the spot. P7.
That's what Campbell needs to see. Now he can get up on the back of this draft envelope that he so desperately needs to extend his mileage to the end of this race. I think he's paying the price for trying to stick with Trost and Silva at the beginning of this run. Because
Very
that
possible.
definitely burns the fuel.
Yeah,
Yes,
it didn't work out for Brian Campbell there. He's probably banging the steering wheel proverbially, going, why did I do that early on?
Yeah, that's... it did not work out for him at all on that one.
Yawning now?
He's yawning.
It's because I've had a long day, and this is a great way to finish it, I'd say.
Silva pitting on pit road.
Oh, David slapped the wall there in 1 and 2 and give that spot to Durazo. Once again, everyone seems to be getting a little bit of a taste of the walls here at Atlanta. And it's not very fun in an IndyCar, I'll put it to you that way.
Trost.
It never is for an IndyCar at any track.
Fortson, he's dropped.
Oh, he is. He is dropping hard. Once again,
That's a
same
DC.
thing happened with
Yeah.
Benindetti. Trost signaling he's pitting. Trost will come in here at the end of lap number 50. And I saw smoke in
That's
1
from
and
the
2.
disconnected car.
Yep, and Fortson is about to be shown here. A disconnect's about to happen as Brandon Trost comes onto pit road, locks up the tires hard coming into the pits. No penalty. Good job for Trost, but there it is. Tristan Fortson, connection dropped. That is game over.
And now
effectively.
Alan Morera has inherited the lead.
Yes, he has. Alan Morea, 10th on the grid to the lead.
Look out in the backstretch here, going into 3.
Oh,
We almost had a Kevin LePage situation.
oh dear. As that was Delaney Calhoun in the 19 trying to let Mitch David, Ty Quilla, and Daniel Durazo by. Durazo now up into 2nd place after everyone cycling through stops.
Go, Cat, go!
Well, if you're just
I think
joining
Hewlett's
us,
got this
make sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell so you'll miss out on the next race. But we are coming to you from a special doubleheader, race 2, race 4 of 13 IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split from Atlanta, where Morera leads race
Mitch
2.
David,
and Mitch David
turn 2 into the wall.
That's gonna be a caution.
Into the wall off of the back straightaway. No caution. He's on the apron. And the iRacing sensor didn't catch it in time when he was spinning on the track itself. I think we're going to stay green.
All right, we're gonna stay green.
Yep, we are.
But Mitch David, once again, another 2 races that the drivers would want to forget. In this case, now it's Mitch David.
Look who's coming to unlap himself. It's Brandon Trost. It looks like he's got like in a different type of class of car in an endurance race. He's out here in the GTP passing these GT3s like they're standing still.
Yeah, Trost is absolutely flying at the moment on fresh rubber as he's catching right up to Ty Quilla. And, yep, passed him like he was tied to a post.
More cars, and Trost will find himself on the lead lap.
Oh, running out of time, only coming to 20 to go here.
Yeah, these are the laps that Trost needs to maintain the lead that he had coming into the pit stops.
Durazo is...
Durazo, big save there, amazingly so. But those tires have got to be cooked on that 18 machine. He's got to be thinking to come in. Not doing so this lap, but Durazo's got to... I think he's going to be coming in this time because I think he realizes...
He just signaled.
Just signaled he's coming in. And Alan Morea lets Brandon Trost pass him. So Trost is back on the lead lap.
Track tempo of 135 now.
As Morea now running up on the gearbox of the 19 of Calhoun, and Durazo staying out. Durazo's not pitting.
He's got to be in a critical fuel save mode here to try and stretch it out as long as he can.
He's got to be.
Yeah, the top 6 are 40 laps into their current stint.
Yeah, so he really seems to be going for fuel save here at the very least.
Oh, yeah, look at that. He dropped down to 209 going into turn 1.
Yep, that is critical fuel save for the 18 crew. And the same seems to be holding true with Alan Morea because he is running similar pace to Durazo. Down to a 25-second lap. Now, for reference here, these guys were running 23-second, like mid-23s earlier on in this race.
Yeah, so if, like, for instance, Moreira's last lap, a 25 flat, his best lap's a 23.4.
Yeah, and Trost right now, Trost, I should point out, 24.1 last time around. 9/10 of a second faster than the race leaders.
Yeah, he doesn't have to save. He's done. He's good to go to the end.
Yep, foot firmly on the firewall for Brandon Trost.
Really, I don't think he's 20 seconds behind the leader. I think he's 18 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah,
I don't
is.
think Alan and Daniel can make it on fuel. I think the first car that can is Keela.
Yeah, Quilla seems to be one of the guys in the best position out of all of them here. Morea and Durazo, it's going to be a question mark, especially with the pace they've been running.
You see the intervals right now, so it's Trost 17.7 now. Back to Moreira.
He is catching them. It's gonna be an ask, I would say, but Trost, he is gonna be turning qualifying lap after qualifying lap here. 23.8 last time around. Yeah, we're clicking it off here for Brandon Trost. Next up in the sights of him will be Jacob Collins, about 8 seconds further up the road.
Trost will catch him easily.
PDF coming onto pit road right in front of Brandon Trost. Down to 16.1 second gap to the leader. Brandon Trost, oh my goodness, he's more than a second faster than the leaders right now.
It's gonna be if these rates continue, it will be a photo finish between him and Taikila at the checkered flag.
It certainly is seeming that way with 11 to go. Yeah, I think you might be right on that one, Clendy. It's gonna be a close call, but it could be a photo finish potentially for the win between Brandon Trost and Ty Quilla.
If Moreira or Durazo can make it on fuel, I don't think Trost can catch them.
I don't think so either.
I don't know if they can make it.
John Silva unlaps himself as well, getting around Alan Morea just now into turn 3. Morea slapped the wall, actually, in turn number 4. Down to 13.3. 3 seconds up the road now, Jacob Collins. Brandon Trost is absolutely flying right now.
He might run out of time. We're looking at 8 laps to go.
198 as they came off of turn 2 there for Alan Morea.
Sub 200 mile an hour speed. That is really showing just how much they have to save to get to the checkers. And even then, will it be enough?
Ross is going to pass Collins here for position on this next lap. That is for 6th place.
Brian Campbell got by Trey Shadid.
My heart is beating right now. My teammates are like in a position to win, but I don't know if they can. Oh my gosh.
Here comes Trost. And once again, Collins looks like he was standing still. Up into 6th place for Brandon Trost. Next up is Trey Shadid.
7 to go.
And Shadid in mega save mode. 26.4 last time around. Trost 24.1. And look at that. Bye. Brandon Trost is just gone.
Okay, now Ty and Brandon. Oh, jeez.
Quilla is pitting. Ty Quilla is coming in, and now Trost is all over the gearbox of Brian Campbell. All the way down the apron, in fact, and gets the pass done.
And Marrero and Durazo had the pit, so Brandon Trost is now your leader.
So Brandon Trost, driving that car as hard as it could be, gets himself up to the lead of the race once more. 5 to go this time.
6 to go, looking at win number 1,143.
Incredible, very much so. And this is the kind of drive that really shows how he's gotten those wins. We kind of consider him something of the heel, really, in the IndyCar series here. But
every good promotion needs a heel, though.
Yeah, exactly. You need your Dale Earnhardt seniors of the world. You need your guys that you either love or you hate. And Brandon Trost is showing the talent that gets him the wins. And especially for last time around when he and Campbell made contact, that seemed to be another case where the heel proved why he's the heel. But coming to 3 to go, Brandon Trost. I'm looking at the times as they come across the stripe here. Trost is now 5.4 seconds ahead of Campbell. Campbell is going insanely slow right now.
You may not like the guy, but just like Roman Reigns in the WWE, you must acknowledge him, as he is now coming to 2 to go for yet another win on the resume for Brandon Trost. 2 to go. Brandon Campbell running the extreme bottom portion of the racetrack, trying just to bring this thing home.
We might have a race for second between Collins and Campbell.
You could very well. Collins, I think, is going to put his foot down a little bit harder. He may have the fuel he needs. And Campbell, does he have the fuel he needs? White flag in the air for Brandon Trost. And Campbell all the way down the apron. That is the maximum fuel save line. White flag for him. But Brandon Trost through 3 and 4, foot firmly on the firewall. The last half of this race, Brandon Trost wins at Atlanta.
Collins is out.
Collins is out of fuel.
He ran out of fuel off of turn 2.
Unbelievable. Collins coasting it to the end. Silva gets around him. Stephen Lee looks like he's going to be catching up to him. I know. Stephen Lee, I think, is out of fuel. Lee is coasting as well. Dylan Moskowitz.
Oh, Dylan
now gets that spot.
Just missed the spot. He just missed the spot from getting Collins, but he got Lee.
So Trost, Campbell, and Silva, your podium after all of that. 2 cars running out of fuel on the last lap. Brandon Trost, your winner.
Both strategies ended up on the podium. And
indeed
up until 5
they did.
to go, I didn't know which one was going to win, but Trost just kept his foot down. What a drive.
Crash Neon with a good point. Wonder how these cars would do at night here.
Good question.
I pleaded with Rob. I said, Rob, set this at night. He said, iRacing doesn't let me, so.
Lame.
Yeah, that's where we need a league to kind of step up and do that.
Lame.
All right, let's get the standings in here just a second. But let's see, Silva finished 3rd. Good on him. I like it. Some new names we haven't seen finished. Had some good finishes tonight. All right. And let's get in those final results. Trost with the win, Campbell second. So the guys that kind of got mixed up in that first race brought it home for the second race, 1 and 2. Silva third. Good run for him as that little economy there at the end gets him the bottom step of the podium. Jacob Collins, just a few drops short, but a good top 5 for him. Finishes fourth. Dylan Moskowitz, a very quiet race. He finished 13 spots better than where he started for a top 5. Stephen Lee seemed to be in action all race long and ran out of fuel, just fuel drops less than he needed at the end as well. Comes home 6th. But Dylan improved, Steven improved 11 spots as well. So deep in the field he came. Delaney Calhoun, we didn't really talk about Delaney too much other than the livery. But Delaney brought it home 7th spot, up 12 positions there at the end. Ty in P8 there. Durazo, who was up in the top 3 for a lot of this race, top 2 for a good portion of it, finishes 9th. Tracy did in 10th. Raporti, Neon, Morera, Benedetti, PDF. That's your top 15. David, and then Fortson and Alexander Cares, your top 19. And that is the remainder of your field. All right.
And it looks like we've got Trost and Campbell in the same waiting room.
All right.
Sit there for a minute. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let them cook. Let them cook a little bit.
All right, well, it's a late night, and we've done a doubleheader, so we won't let these guys sit any longer than they have to here. So we'll bring up.
I think they would appreciate that.
Brian Campbell in the booth here. Gosh, you got everybody here, Brian. You got me. You got Justin. Clindy joined us for a while. He's still here. We got Steven. A much better race this time around for you. P2, and then nursing it to the bitter end there. How much was left in the tank?
Nothing. I had to call up my buddy Dixon and no, I'm not friends with Scott Dixon, I wish, but I did not think I was going to be able to make it. And I have to say one thing. I knew the second I saw Trost in the race, we were either wrecking or we were finishing 1-2. And sure enough, we got 1-2. So that's kind of funny considering our first race.
Right.
That ended up being correct on 2 counts.
It was a great race. I mean, I really like this week has been Yellow Fest, and I was really happy to see one go green and have 2 strategies go on. And I picked the wrong strategy, and I can live with that. I made the most out of my strategy, and I was one of the few people who made it to the line on my strategy. So I'm really happy with my performance, and I got some points this week, which honestly, going into today, I didn't think I would do. I thought I'd be wrecking in both of these.
Well, congratulations, man. I know that. At least you audited out that one from earlier, so you're going to get some points out of this one for sure. Friends, family, sponsors, anybody want to shout out here before we let you go? It's getting late, so I don't want to stay too late out there, but I know you're happy, though, and I tell you, since you really got that inaugural win at Gateway, you've kind of been up there all season long. Are you as we go through this season, and before you do shout outs, is the championship battle becoming more and more real for you now as every week goes on?
Honestly, I didn't think I'd be this high up. I don't feel like I've changed my practice schedule. I just think with the help of Rogue Racing, Clendy knows all the work and all the tips he gives me. I think it's just led to good performances. Clendy's looking like he's getting me beat right now, but I'm firmly in the battle for the podium, and the podium gives out a certificate, and I would be really happy to get a certificate at the end of the year.
Shout outs.
Obviously Rogue Racing. The team, they're the reason I'm up front. Clendy, Ty, Tony, and Jacob Collins. I got to shout out my buddy Trost. I mean, that we put up one hell of a show for the broadcast, I must say.
You did.
But yeah, I will apologize for the first race. It was aggressive racing, I think overly aggressive, but the contact was my fault. I got loose in the quad oval and I did make the contact. So well,
I called it.
Yeah. Yep, I did get loose. I do think the racing was over aggressive. I will hold my position on that, but I do apologize for the contact because I need to be in better control of my car in that situation.
With how hot the track temperature was, it played a factor into that loose condition that happened going through the quad oval. At one point, when you guys were coming to the checkered flag in the first race, the track temperature hit 138 degrees. Oh, well, it did the same thing in this one here.
Yeah, they don't call it Hot Atlanta for no reason, that's for sure.
Precisely.
It's I don't necessarily feel like embarrassed for getting loose in the quad oval because it's just such a hard setup to drive, and it's a unique challenge that no one's used to. So it's my fault, and I will admit it, but I'm not embarrassed because it is a tough setup to drive, and every race I feel like someone's spun it on the restart, and I think that's a little more embarrassing than what I did. So I'll pat myself on the back on that one. But it's definitely a hot and difficult setup to drive. So
yeah, it's not like this is a natural IndyCar track anyways. So congratulations, my friend, and we'll catch you at the next race, but it's getting late, so get some sleep, and we'll catch you at the next race, but congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
And we'll bring up Brandon here. And I'm going to bring myself back into the channel. There we go. Brandon Trost, welcome to Victory Lane. I believe, I think I counted before the race. I want to make sure I got an accurate and current count. 1,143 now career wins here on the service. Congratulations, sir. And I guess... really, the strategy really felt your way where everyone else there at the end was saving and you were just 100% throttle and go.
Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't think anyone was going to pit under that caution. I was actually going to pit the second time around and try to feel save it, but then everyone else pit, so I decided to just go hard.
Yeah, you know what they say, just if you do the same strategy as everyone else, you're never really going to make any headway, and then you decided to go off strategy, and that's certainly where you were able to go headway. Conditions out there, you weren't able to really go as long as you wanted in the first race. The second race kind of went the distance. How were the conditions out there for you up front? It seemed like it wasn't impacting you as much as it was the others, though.
I mean, I don't have an issue with it necessarily. It's challenging, but it's really just a matter of not getting in a wreck. You know, I've done 5 races now, and I've won 2, and in the 3 that I wrecked out, the worst I was running when I wrecked was second. So it's just, it's a luck of the draw whether you get in a wreck or you get in an incident for the lead or a lap car takes themselves out in front of you or whatever.
Well, now as we're starting to get into this season a little bit deeper, you are kind of the points leader and now are looking at a potential series championship. Is it too early to begin thinking about that, or are you looking a little bit forward now into at least next week when we go to, let's see, next week is Motegi. So, I mean, how's your outlook on Motegi look like?
I'm not very good at Motegi. If some of the bigger guys like Malechka decide to show up, I probably have no shot. But if it's a weaker field, maybe I'll get a top 5 or so. And, for the championship deal, I've got 4 weeks right now that are 250-ish or above. So I feel okay about it. And Motegi's probably going to be a drop.
All right. Well, he's forecasting it nevertheless. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone to say hi to before we let you go? It's getting late.
Well, I'm just going to give everyone a shout out for this broadcast. I know you guys have been doing this a while tonight. This is a pretty long broadcast to do, especially with all those cautions adding laps to it and time.
Yeah.
Come on, Trust. You and I have been a part of iRacing for how long? We're used to it running long, especially in the special events.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know why people are wrecking so much here. It's like not that hard to drive, but it seems like there's so many wrecks, so I don't understand that, but it is what it is.
All right, Brandon. Well, congratulations, sir. Appreciate you sticking around, coming out for the second one. We'll give you the rest of the night off, and we'll catch you in a week at Motegi.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya. All right, guys. Well, that's it. We've completed yet another doubleheader, and we got one more in us for this season. We will do a doubleheader at week 13. We very rarely get a week 13 here in the series. In fact, I don't think we've ever officially broadcasted a Week 13 race. But we will do a Week 13 race later this season at iRacing Superspeedway. So if this week was not what's that?
It's not iRacing. You have to remember the running joke, because they wanted to get Coca-Cola to sponsor it. We jokingly call it, we call it redacted. Redacted.
Okay. Redacted. So, but if today wasn't the meme race that we were expecting, certainly back when we get to Week 13, iRacing Superspeedway for sure will be a meme race. It looks like we lost LGN, but LGN is a working man just like me, and he needs to get up early in the morning, so we'll wish him a good night. Clindy, thanks for joining us. Any final thoughts here from Atlanta before moving on to Motegi next week?
Yeah, just upset I couldn't have my internet ready for the second race, but I'm glad you guys welcomed me in the booth, and I'm glad that I gave my teammates the right fuel number and the advice to save heavy rather than to save light. Looking forward to Motegi, especially since Tross thinks it'll be a bad track for him. I need to capitalize. Basically, I think my strategy is beat him every week the rest of the season to make it close. He has about 100 points on me right now, so hopefully that works out for me, but if not, I'm happy with second. But, my goal was second this season, but with Rob and Jacob not showing up, it's kind of like a hollow second. But,
gotcha.
Shout outs to all my friends and family who watch. I know I got some cousins, some uncles, everyone out there who tune into these, and my mom and my dad, my sister, my brother. I know I'm not on the podium today, but, maybe next week. We'll see.
Well, you're going to be in the booth later this week.
Yeah, on Friday.
On Friday. We'll be calling the action together for the VOR DW12 series. The Iconic series is 3 p.m. Eastern, as they will be at Fontana. So we'll not a meme race, but we expect to see a close one there. That'll be later this week, me and Clindy over on the Velocity Online Racing channel, 3 p.m. This Friday. Justin, you had an entertaining race experience today, so talk about final thoughts here.
Well, it was hot. There were cars all over the place. One car went airborne. What more can you say?
Steven, final thoughts here from Atlanta.
They don't call it that for nothing, both literally and metaphorically. And we just showed it 2 times over tonight. This has been pretty much what we expected. Not exactly a meme race per se, but definitely a race of chaos in a lot of regards. But even through chaos, there are some people that just rise to the top, and Brandon Trost definitely did that in the first race. And yeah, in the second race, I should say. And yeah, it's just been a fantastic night of racing, and well, fantastically crazy, I think is the best way to put it. And perhaps a little bit of normality will come with Motegi next week, but at the same time, we'll definitely enjoy it for what it is, even though it's kind of safe in the back of our minds that we will not see this sort of craziness in the real world anytime soon, and that's probably a good thing.
I will say this, though. One race on the schedule that I actually have circled: the Sand Hills at North Carolina.
Rockingham, yes.
Let's go.
With the qualifying speeds entering turn 1 when you come off of turn 4, 193 miles an hour.
Yeah, I expect the lap speeds to be close to 200 there. That is week 10. Which is a little ways down the road, but that should be. I expect that we'll get a lot of eyeballs for that, because the only reason I say that is that I also did another broadcast at the old channel with the Revolution Indy League doing a race at Rockingham, and for whatever reason that got a lot of clicks. So I was expecting the curiosity of what an IndyCar would do at Rockingham. We'll get a lot of clicks, and so I'm looking forward to that race too. That's later this season, week 10. Well, that's going to really do it for tonight, guys. Let's get everybody out of here. It's 20 after 11 here on the East Coast, so old man Gary needs his rest, not just professionally, but the doctor says I should get it. So let's get on out of here. So that's it for tonight. Once you get to your podium for race 1, so we had PDF, Zier, and PK getting the podium there for race 1, and race 2 is Silva, Campbell, and Trost. And again, a doubleheader. It's great to have everyone to join us. If you join us for every lap, thank you very much. Join us again next week as the series moves on to the Oval in Motegi, Japan for round 5 of Season 4, 2024, the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split. Coverage begins around 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 8:15 p.m. Eastern. As always, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Hey, we love bringing these races to you, but they're not easy and require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you IndyCar Oval action for nearly sponsor-free for a larger part of the last year. So if you share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split, please take time to go visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. We do realize times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and making us part of your Tuesday evenings each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game, it's not an easy one, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. And everyone that's chimed in chat, thank you so much. Always your interactions make chat and the races much more entertaining. If you're new, click subscribe. And there's about 64% of you watching that haven't done that yet. I don't have to show that stat, but I'm going to start showing it if people aren't subscribing. So get in there and subscribe. And while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so I'll miss out on more P1's other iRacing programming, including our Wednesday doubleheaders for the next, I think, 5 weeks. Join Mark Murphy and Ryan Eric King at 7:50 p.m. Eastern for the Votive Racing League's Boomer Button Boxes in the Oval Series. Or you could join me and Josh Bittner at 8:50 p.m. for the latest round of the Vigilante Racing League Truck Series. Now you have a choice of what you want to watch on Wednesday nights. It's all right here on P1. Track cams for this racing promoted by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow them on Twitter and Instagram. Links are in the description. So for Stephen Larkamp, for Justin Peshar, for LGN, for, let's see, we had Clindy. Am I missing anybody? For everybody here at P1, everybody that watched at home, I'm Gary Gatto saying all. Thanks for watching. Good night. And to all our men and women serving in the military and its first responders, Godspeed. God bless them. Come home safe. Catch us again right here next week in Japan for the next race of the IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split on P1. Good night.